And we're live, and welcome to Sudariel. I'm Russell Kirkby. This is the Vaingate Chronicles. Over above me, you will see Max Easy playing Edrin, Stywell, Montcoff. Everybody give him a big hand. Yay! Next to Max, we have Steve Austin, the Steve Austin, playing Leithwa. Is that how you say his character's name?
Full name Leithwa, but everybody calls him Leith.
Right, and it's Leith, not to be confused with Leaf, because he gets very offended with Leaf.
Very offended when you call him Leaf.
Right, because he's not a flaky Leaf.
No,
he's a very serious wizard. Right. So next to Leith, we have Milford Brixton, played by the infamous Barry Tahira, or was it the other way around?
No, we don't. You got it wrong.
One of them is infamous, and the other one is Barry Tahira. Anyway, so he's a rogue and a bit of a, least said about him, probably the better. Moving right along to Adric Fogdar, played by Michael Baish. Is that how we pronounce your name, Michael?
Close enough.
Close enough. How do you pronounce your name?
Michael Baich.
Baich. Okay.
Baich. Yes, it's a bit tight on the end.
Baich.
You
Okay.
smack him in the head.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm glad to have some people come and watch us once again doing our crazy Vaingate business. So, as I was saying a little bit earlier before we went live, we shall cast our scene into the Barachiel Envoy Annex Inner Vault. This was where we shall cast our inner eye, and we shall imagine our characters standing about in this large underground space. And there is a ramp that comes down into this room, where there is presently an oxen cart being drawn down very carefully into the room by a couple of mages and some what we've come to call the Wasted. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Who are essentially homeless people who have been, let's just say they've been made very pliable by the order of mages known as the Barachiel Envoy, who are a group of mages from the island of Barachiel and the city of Barachiel, which is it's a wizard enclave. That whole city is a wizard enclave, and this is their embassy essentially. So our heroes are here because they essentially want to steal a cart of Ostorian relics. And Ostoria was the giant empire many thousands of years ago. And so these wizards are digging underneath the city of Vaingate to obtain these ancient artifacts and other treasures. And our casual heroes here have come to infiltrate them and try to obtain at least one, if not more, wagons of gold and other treasures from the Barachiel Envoy. They're basically going to try and steal their shit right from underneath their noses. And we're about to find out how well that's going to go. So, fellows, you stand about in this room, this vault, and there are presently 3 wizards that you can see. One of them is Xandor Rem, who is your primary contact among these wizards. And the other 2 seem to be apprentices of his. There's also a couple of soldiers standing up at the top of the ramp who seem to be on guard and at the ready for doing dastardly deeds that need doing, if you catch my drift.
Are they doing the deeds dirt cheap, though?
Well, you don't know. You'd have to ask them how cheaply they're doing their deeds, but that's, a whole other question. So what are you guys doing at this point? Ladies and gentlemen.
Is this set just after I had my meeting with Xandor?
This is basically right at the end of the last game, yeah. We're right at the same place as where we were there, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I think it appears that our first day of work is your first, my second or third, is more or less done for now. Might I suggest we return to our lodgings and have a wee rest. And I can show you everything. As
indeed, at this point, the sun, the first sun, Solum Pingal's bright orangey yellow light is pouring down through the ramp into the room, casting long shadows as it rises. You guys have been up all night working. Back to you.
under my breath, I'm gonna whisper so that they don't hear me, so that everyone around at least struggles to hear him say, I have an idea how we might sneak some things out, and
Oh, yes.
Milford, that's all thanks to you, really. I'll explain in a moment, once we get back to my logics.
Oh, I see. I'm quite tired. All of a sudden.
Oh, I am so tired.
Oh my God, do they all wrecked us? Well, God.
How is that?
That's brilliant.
Good?
I was so convinced, Leith.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Oh,
All right, shall we?
You were convinced by that, were you?
I'm easily impressed.
Oh, I can see that.
Have we
Come on, let's
just
go.
just a little bit of
yeah,
backing up from last week?
yeah.
Have we talked to Zendorem about what happened?
Briefly,
remember,
yes.
Russell?
Yeah, you did
Briefly.
briefly
Okay.
talk to him about that. Yes, and he basically seemed to take the whole thing kind of off your hands and hasn't asked you to do anything about it or anything like that. It's just sort of been acknowledged, and the incident with the mages attacking you as you were bringing the wagon back from the first dig site has been kind of frowned upon. Obviously, it wasn't a good thing. Clearly, there's some sort of investigation has been put underway, but you guys don't seem to have any direct need to be involved in that at this point. In fact, it may even be that they don't want you involved with that.
Cool. Okay. Yep. I'll follow along behind everybody else who's heading to bed. Yes, we're heading to bed. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, everyone else,
Or
unless
or a-
a couple of you want to go exploring, which
or
I
asleep.
don't recommend.
Also, I do recall one other minor thing that might be of import to any of you. I don't know. Barry's character, you found a secret door inside that tunnel at some point, but I don't know. This is probably not the best time to go investigating. It might be. It's up to you. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, no. Too much light, too many people.
Right. Fair enough.
All right, so back to my
your
thing.
All right. So you guys go back to the sleeping quarters in the barracks of this place, the Barachiel Annex, and Adric, you have your own room, but adjoining that room, the next room over is a much larger room where there's like about 8 beds where these guys are being slept, but unfortunately there is another. I'm just going to roll some dice here. Well, there is one other person in that annex, in that room, and it's a human, a male human who seems to be a member of the slightly more advanced crew, not the wasted crew, but the next level up, kind of like yourself, Adric.
Okay, cool.
But yet in a smaller room, in a room with more people at least. So maybe not quite at your level, somewhere in between, maybe.
Okay, so I'm going to open the door to my quarters. I'm going to gesture for these guys to follow me in.
Yes.
Follow you in, I think.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Wait. Before,
Let's go. Yep.
when I get okay, I'll use my voice for when I'm talking to the judge. When I get in,
Yep.
sorry, when I get in, I check his room out for any kind of magic sigils or things that might be listening to voices.
Right. All right. So you're going to make a Arcana check.
Yes.
Well, why don't we start with an investigation check, actually?
Yeah.
All right. One moment, please, while we do that. Dun, 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 dun. Milford Brixton.
I go like this to everybody. Shh.
Ah.
Well,
Yes.
Milford, you see that there is indeed a rat sitting behind the sort of cabinet to the side of the room. This dusty old cabinet where there's a couple of old dusty books there, with very boring names on them. One of them is about the Barachiel Envoy itself and what it proposes to do, and why it's here. It's basically propaganda leaflets.
Is he a friend of yours?
Who that?
Pointing to the rat.
Oh, no. He comes in every now and then and eats the books. I let him. I thought, well, they're worthless. Well, one of the
Well, what a waste of perfectly good books.
You're free to take them.
I picked the rat up and threw it out the window.
All right. We're going to make you an animal handling check. Dun, 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 dun. And the number is 12. Okay, you throw it out the window. It squeaks. It doesn't actually bite you, amazingly enough. All right, so the rat goes flying out the window, and you're now, as far as you can tell, alone in the room. There could be, I don't know whether you want to sweep any further or not, whether that's the limit of your...
Noting...
I write down, I write down on the... I find the book you're not using. Open up the back where I can write, and I write on it and show you all. Can any of you, what's the word? Can any of you sense or pick up listening things magically that are magical?
Well, I have my ears.
I just shake
What?
my head.
Just go and do it. Don't speak. Just go and do it if you can do it.
At Milford's behest, I'm going to start. I'm going to do my own investigation of the room.
Do what?
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill him.
Well, people in the audience here are telling us that they feel sorry for the poor rat, by the way. Yeah.
I say, he was a freeloader. Don't you worry about him.
He had it coming.
He didn't pay rent, nothing.
He had it coming.
You
Got a
two
victim.
look for magical listening devices.
Alright, so I rolled a 7 at my investigation, so...
Okay, well,
Nothing.
You really don't think there's any magical listening devices. What a ridiculous idea.
Why would they listen to me? They trust me. They think I'm brilliant, and I am.
I'll go for him. Are we doing an investigation?
Yep, you want to roll an investigation?
Might as well.
Yep.
17.
5.
A 5 from Leith.
I'm still not understanding what I'm looking for.
Okay. And
Leith's
Edrin...
just like, what?
Edrin
What's
got a
this guy
17,
want?
right?
Student.
Edrin, that was a 17, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay, and that was investigation. Okay, so what you find is a little figurine sitting up on a tiny little shelf in the corner of the room, covered behind some spider webs. And the figurine is like
Okay.
a strange little creature, a strange little squat figure. Hard to decipher exactly who or what it is, if it's a deity or a creature or what exactly that is, unless you'd like to make an Arcana check. It does have some...
I will. Honest check.
Yeah, it has some scribbles on the base of it if you care to investigate it that far. You did make an investigation check, so I would think that's reasonable.
It'll be a 22.
22. Well, indeed, this seems to be some kind of strange deity of some... you vaguely recall this being some sort of Underdark creature's deity. You don't know who it is exactly, because you never studied Underdark creatures particularly. But it seems to be related to perception and knowledge and foresight, and you kind of get the feeling from the enchantment on it that it's something to do with scrying, enabling scrying.
Right. I kind of hold it, kind
Yeah.
of chuck it up into the air a bit, catch it.
All right.
I go over to the window, I yawn, and I kind of just let it drop from the window.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, Eden, what was that?
Oh, I think it was just a little bit of cobweb. I think it was just a little bit of fluff. Nothing too important, I don't think.
All right. Oh, well, no problem then. Shall we get down to business?
Yes, I think we should.
All right.
Yes.
First thing, after my re-debrief with Xander, tomorrow will be put on the big dig site, the one with the apparently really good stuff. So that's some exciting news. And second, Milford, great job finding that little corridor. I believe we could probably use that to our advantage.
I was thinking that.
Well, the problem is that long tunnel is it's always watched. So how do we get them out?
Oh, you need somebody who's stealthy to get in there.
If only we had one of those.
Open the door and then go down to see what actually is there.
Well, I have my cloak.
Of invisibility? Is that a...
It's more a cloak of camouflage.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yes. More a cloak of camouflage. Well, you're stealthy, aren't you, Leaf?
Oh, a little bit.
Oh, good. Now here's your first lesson in stealth. Tonight, after you've had a rest, go down there and have a look.
Should we maybe do it now?
No, it's daytime.
Do we definitely need a rest?
Oh,
well, if you'd like to stay up all day, that's fine. That's up to you.
I mean,
It would also be good.
I feel fine.
For the items, I believe we were both given those cloaks. It may take a little bit of getting used to before throwing. I don't think it'd be one of those items you can just throw on and it works. I think it takes a little bit of getting used to.
That's a good point. What else? Right. Well, if we were to stage an attack like what happened earlier, and I were to blow this handy dandy whistle and I pull out the guard whistle that I have, I could probably pull all the guards toward us, giving you an opportunity to get into the corridor.
except don't they moving us to the other hole tomorrow?
Indeed, but there's only one way to the annex, as far as I'm aware.
Are you sure about that?
No, as I said, that's only as far as I know.
So do you guys? What's the question here? What are you really trying to figure out? One way to the annex from where? Because I'll probably tell you.
From the main dig site. From the new dig site.
From the new dig site.
It's all just one tunnel, right?
Well, as far as the tunnel's concerned, that's the way that the authorities prefer you to travel. But you could feasibly travel through the palatial district itself over the surface. But that's going to involve a lot more checks and more likelihood of running into guards. They don't particularly like having dirty-looking wagons traipsing through the middle of the palatial district. You could feasibly. It is public property. They are public roads, but they're more likely to stop you. There's more guards. You could also feasibly go all the way around the citadel, all the way around the other side of Carcanos, and through two massive gates through the Elven Garden district, like make a full circle of that whole top right citadel to get around there, rather than simply going through one small tunnel, really. But it's up to you. That's an option.
Hey, gentlemen, I mean, we could always go around the palatial district or the elven district, but we could get caught up by guards and stuff. So it just depends on what opportunity strikes us.
like I said, we're going to have to look where that door leads to.
That's a pretty good idea. Believe it or not, I am not all that stealthy.
Are you not?
I know.
A little fella like you.
These mighty stocky legs of mine are unfortunately built for loving, not for sneaking.
Whoa.
But most of the work, though, is done on site during the night time, isn't it?
Indeed.
Yes.
Well, could we not wait till folks have gone home and we sneak in?
But they don't go home until the
Go and
daytime.
investigate that tunnel. It is nearly night. It is nearly daytime.
We could. That's not a terrible idea.
I don't think we should investigate the tunnel. Too many of us.
Right. Yes. That's probably.
That's why I said Leaf should do it, you know.
Well, you're more the. You're more the dexterous type than I am.
Oh,
But I
that's
could
true.
certainly come with you and learn.
Oh, that's true.
What if, well, Leith, you have your hawk. Given time, I can get my weasel back.
Oh yes.
If we
yes.
could pass nonchalantly, open the door, let in our familiars, they can go in, have a look around, and then at the end of the day, as we come back, they come scurrying back out, and they can tell us everything that they've seen.
Well, I'm afraid.
So long
my
as they're still
owl-
alive.
Yes, I am afraid though that my owl can't go terribly far from me. He will sit outside, but it's only a few hundred. It's only 100 meters or so.
Okay.
Because I only have telekinetic ability with Tup, my weasel. But after that, I think he's still all right to go about and do things. So once he gets back, I can have a little conversation with him, hopefully, or he can try to do something of the sort.
It might be worth you sending Tup then. Yes.
Even though all these things are ingenious ideas, gentlemen, they are very ingenious. I'm not putting them down or anything,
He absolutely is.
but I've got a disguise that I can wear. And I can get down there a lot easier than most of you. So, to save us... Yes?
If you feel you can manage that by yourself, Milford, I'm
I'm
more than
never
happy to
alone.
let
I've
you
got
go.
you, fellas. I'm never alone. I've got you lot.
Ah, well, I think that more or less settles it if you're comfortable going on your own.
Oh, yeah. But could you provide me with a little bit of a distraction?
Well, I could try.
Absolutely. What do you think would work?
The audience is quite excited about the idea of you using disguises, by the way.
The eyes have it.
I'm gonna be dressing up as one of our, what do you call them?
The
One of
mages.
The
Oh,
wasted.
the wasted.
The wasted. I'm gonna be one of them there wasted people.
I thought you were already one of them.
You're a funny man. I like you.
Yeah, do try.
No. Okay. But, save your humor for next week. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to dress up as one of them. What I need to know from you, my dear friend,
Yes.
is when do the wasted start coming out
Oh,
to do their jobs?
they're all about. Head out to the dig sites at about 7 bell.
7 bells, you reckon?
Yes.
Now, they're going to expect all of us to be going in that second hole, aren't they?
This is true. That's where the good stuff is, apparently.
So, and they expect me to be going down there because they want us to investigate it, don't they?
Yeah. Well,
That-
no one's, as far as I'm aware, no one's really been down there. So,
Can someone cover for me somehow?
are any of you capable of you magic types? Are you capable of creating a clone or an illusion or something like that?
Oh, I'm not sure that
If we
that's
just had
something
like
I
a,
could.
if we just had like a goneless-looking puppet, that'll do as well.
What if he was just sick?
I don't think Xander will buy that.
I
I've
do
seen,
not.
it's
Good
seen a couple
idea.
injuries, so it's not likely to buy Milford having a wee stomach ache.
That's fair. Although if it was something infectious, he didn't want to get the whole group infected, and then
Considering
we're
that,
delayed for a few days.
Russell,
Yes, sir.
could, if I think about it, could I do it in the daytime?
Could you do it in the daytime? Well, if you want to make an intelligence check,
If you'll do that for me, I'll appreciate it.
I will roll you an intelligence check, Milford Brixton. Intelligence check. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. It is bouncing around the screen. Oh, a massive 18. Okay. It occurs to you, because you've done this sort of thing before, that you could leave the annex, and then after you've left the annex with the wagon, you could climb underneath the wagon.
Yes. Like
And
I
then-
did before.
Right. And then
Yeah.
once you're in the tunnel, you could climb off the wagon. So anyone watching the entrance to the tunnel would see, a wagon with no Milford Brixton going into the tunnel, and
Yep.
then a wagon with no Milford Brixton coming out of the tunnel. But obviously the actual Milford Brixton would have jumped off the wagon during the transit through the tunnel, having been hiding under the wagon the entire time.
I was hoping you wouldn't say yes.
But that's just a possible situation that could work. They're
Okay,
probably
I've got a plan.
all right, what's your plan?
I'm gonna get under your wagon, all right? When you go in to the annex, all right? I'm gonna drop off and roll, and you're gonna keep the wagon going, right?
All right, that's not a bad plan.
And then I'll find the door, open the door, go down and have a quick look, and then I'll try to catch up with you if I have the chance. If I'm not there, you keep going, because remember, they didn't see me going in, so they won't see me going out.
Great, love it. One hiccup though. If they don't see you going to work, there's going to be questions raised. And
All right, then let's do it this way. Let them see me go in with you.
All right.
All right. Then let me get under the wagon, get off the wagon at a certain place. All right.
All right.
I'll get under it and then I'll roll towards where I need to go. And you give me a certain amount of minutes to get down there as fast as I can and come back. And then I'll catch you on the way back. But slow that wagon down. Keep it busy.
I could see if I could distress the oxen to, look like they're freaking out for no discernible reason.
All right. All right.
Or one of our wheels break.
That's also true, and I have to fix
Well,
it because I'm the only one that can
Yes,
do that. Apparently.
that sounds very good.
Exactly.
And if anybody asks about me, just saying I've gone to find some help
Good plan. All right.
to
Ah,
help with the wheel.
What could possibly go wrong?
Every bloody thing you can possibly think of.
Well-
I don't wager Moradin himself is going to burst out of the earth and start screaming in his towel.
Oh, nothing surprises me.
All right, well,
We don't know what's down that little extra tunnel.
Oh, and there's something I want everybody to do. Pray like hell, because we're going to need it.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. If you're of faith, yes,
and
I would think so.
Another agnostic.
Well-
I knew I liked Jalith.
Yes, yes. I'm not really that caught up with that kind of thing.
I've got faith.
Whatever you believe, Milford.
I've got
Yourself?
faith.
Stardust.
Me.
Stardust.
Oh, well.
Sam says most of all, act natural.
Natural.
Oh, yes. I'm going to act natural. I always
Yeah,
act
smile and
natural.
wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Nice.
You want outside. All right, here we go. Let's get some rest because we're gonna need it.
Yes, please. I would very much like my little tuck back.
All right.
Ah, yes. For Edrin's sake, I guess we do need to have a bit of a rest. Would be probably a good idea. Yes.
Brilliant. Now, if you gentlemen would please get the hell out of my room and into the barracks, I'd be very, very happy.
Yes. Sorry.
Of course.
Yes.
You're
Could
quite
I-
welcome.
Could I borrow one of your books for light reading?
If you like. I hand him both of the pop propaganda texts. Knock yourself out, friend.
Thank you very much. These were actually the two I was quite interested in reading. If they're the same book, then I might leave one behind. But if they're like Volume 1, Volume 2 propaganda, I'll gladly take them both.
Well, you know, I haven't even looked at them, but all I know is that I like to eat them, and he'll probably get hungry in the middle of the night, so I'll huck one out the window if you don't want it.
Oh,
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Oh.
I wouldn't mind reading one of those actually.
Well, then the dog was hungry.
Very good. I hand the other propaganda book to you.
Right, well,
Thank you.
good evening, gentlemen. I shall see you in the evening, technically.
Yes. See you tomorrow night.
In the
Just-
evening.
Tonight.
I'm just like
Yes.
gently squeezing them out the door. Yes, all right. Good night. Yes, okay, goodbye.
Good morning to you, sir.
All right, so you guys
So-
head off to your room
Yeah.
next door, and you crash, I assume.
Yes. Yes. Leith.
Leith is just going to spend the rest time reading up this propaganda and seeing what it has to say. I don't need the sleep.
Russell, I'm gonna pack up the disguise just in case things go wrong. I can always disguise myself as one of those lost dudes to get out of trouble.
Okay, so you're going to disguise yourself as one of the wasted, is that right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna put it in a bag, do the thing, but if something goes wrong, then I can disguise myself as one of the wasted.
Right. Okay. All right then. Very good.
Is the human that was around, is he asleep right now?
The human that was around. Right. Yes. Yes, he does seem to be asleep. He's currently snoring.
Okay. I am going to pull out the dead mage's spell book,
Okay.
unlock it, and start having a wee little gaze at it.
Ooh. All right then. Very well. Very well. All right. I will send you messages with spells that it may have in it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And once I've had just a little read of that,
Yep.
I'm going to continue. Once I've just had a little gaze and interested little nosy at what's in there,
Yep.
I'm going to spend whatever little time I have left continuing to write my letter to Maria.
Maria
Before
being your wife, right?
Maria, my wife.
Yep.
Before I sheepishly pull out a little stuffed animal and turn over to go to sleep.
Right, and for the information of the audience, Maria, his wife, and the letters that Edrin is writing, he is in fact penning these letters, and we will be posting them in a blog on sadariel.com, which you can see the spelling of it right there underneath where you're looking at me talking out of my ass, basically, right now. So, go look that up, and you might be able to find the blog. It's not there yet, but, Anyway, thank you. Right. My job here is done. moving right along. Anyone else have anything else they want to do before they crash, or otherwise rest, or before the next?
I'll take one of the cloaks with me too.
Okay, so you're taking a cloak of elven kind.
Yep.
And a
the
disguise
disguise.
kit. Okay, are you going to wear the cloak, or are you going to carry it in your bag?
I'm going to carry it in the bag.
Okay. Very good then. Then you all go to sleep. And other than anyone who's going to meditate, I assume that was Leith.
I'm meditating.
Yep.
Definitely.
I'm meditating over reading the propaganda.
Right, okay. Well, the
I guess
propaganda...
that's not really a light task.
Right. So the many good deeds of the Barachiel Envoy, according to the propaganda leaflet, include sheltering of the homeless, the delivery of food to the poor, all sorts of donations to various sorts of charitable institutions and religious sort of occasions and such. Various festivities are held several times a year in the name of the poor and the otherwise financially challenged. And they also do things in terms of historic things as well. There's all sorts of historical trusts and such that they've set up, and money that's being funneled into the restoration of Vaingate's very historical and deeply important sites, if you like, including the Vaingate itself, which, as you guys probably know, but maybe not the audience, Vaingate is an archway built by the giants that sits outside the city, that people go on pilgrimages to get there from all over the world. So anyway, that's your propaganda. And then you rest. Well, the day goes by rather peaceably. You occasionally wake up briefly to the sounds of some noises in the distance, but drift back to sleep again, whomever it is that's sleeping. I'm assuming that's Adrian, because he's the only human here, isn't he? Adric, you sleep, though, because you're a dwarf, right?
Absolutely. I'm sleeping very hard.
Right, so you just... Yeah, I'm assuming you snore. I'm just going to say you snore, because you're a dwarf.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. I'm not sure if the barracks... The barrack walls block it out entirely.
Right, fair enough. Okay, so the day passes, and Solum Pingal, the main primary sun in Sidariel, sets. Ida Solum is still high in the sky, but that leaves a sort of a dim purplish glow over the landscape coming in through the windows. And that will continue for a number of hours before full darkness sets in about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But you guys all wake up sometime round about primary sunset.
I'm going to walk into the barracks. All right, you lot, are you ready?
Always ready, yes.
Lovely.
And I'll get up from my lotus position.
Yes, I forgot.
Yes,
you
yes,
don't sleep, do you?
Barely ever. It's quite a cursory kind of thing that we would need to do if we would need to close our eyes. So why bother?
I'll say it's time, I guess.
Hmm.
Milford, you all set?
I'm all set.
And Ethan, you all good to go as well?
Yes, I'm ready and willing.
Lovely. All right, let's go.
Adrian,
Adrian?
Yes.
Adrian, you're going to have to keep the
Yes.
wizard busy. You're going to have to keep the wizard that you have with us all the time.
Oh,
Well, didn't she die?
Yeah, she did die, but my bet is they're going to replace her.
Oh, they were quite attached to Gladhail, so I mean, hopefully they give us a new wizard, because we know we need them, but we'll see. I think they trust me well enough.
All right.
Right.
Hopefully.
All right.
Jogging.
So you start to hear the insects of the day dying down too at this point now, and it's getting cooler and quieter, and you can hear in the distance children playing on the street in the distance, and the sounds of wagons begin to make noise down below and outside in the courtyard. It's seems to be actually it's a dry, sunny day that you've just slept through, which is a nice change in Vaingate because it's often raining and miserable. So you go downstairs, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, you enter the annex vault, and Xandor Rem is presently supervising various acolytes, or apprentices, should I say, packaging up a number of items. A large bowl, some amulets, some javelin heads are being wrapped up in large, downy-looking, almost like blankets that look like they've been hastily sewn together. And they're putting those into a large wooden crate presently, and he's telling someone, yes, just put that, that's good, that will work, I think. Take that into the annex and leave it there, and we'll continue with the process later. Oh, look, it's our friends, the adventurers. Welcome.
Good morning, good evening, Xandor. How are you doing this fine night?
Yes, the work continues, doesn't it? It's did you sleep well?
Work.
I hope.
Oh, I always sleep beautifully, just like the rocks.
Just like the rocks. And how about the rest of you fellows?
Oh, yes, fine. Just brushing up on my knowledge of the dig, and doing a little bit of research.
Oh, that's very good. I'd like to introduce you to Hamir. Hamir? And this one of the wizards steps forward. This is one of the apprentices, and it's a man, and he's got his hood up around his face. You can see the sigils written around the sides of his, in a strip along the edges of his yellow robe. And he nods, bows, doesn't say anything, and steps back again. He leans on his staff. So that's Hamir. Hamir will be your contact for the day, your supervisor.
Wonderful. Yeah. Pleasure to meet you, Hamir.
Yeah, nice to meet you, sir.
He glances about at you all and nods. He doesn't even smile. You notice that he's wearing some kind of face paint or makeup. It seems a little bit alien to you guys.
That's interesting. No, sorry, I don't mean to stare. Beg your pardon, Hamir. Hi. Xandor, was there anything anything you needed to tell me? I believe we're headed to the newer dig site tonight, this evening.
Well, just for your information, what is kind of interesting is that I'd like to know if any of you heard of a group of people or an organisation that call themselves the Lepers of Naught.
Oh, yes, I have.
Well, you've heard of the Lepers of Naught.
Oh, yes, I have,
well,
sir.
What do you know about the Lepers of Naught, Milford?
Well, they're a gang, of course, and they're run by, I know who they're run by because we dealt with them. What was their name, Russell? It was a long time ago.
His name was, the name that you recall is Isbot.
Isbot. They're run by a gentleman called Isbot. Why?
Well, the people that accosted you yesterday in the tunnel under the palatial district, we've been able to connect them with the Lepers of Naught. It seems to me that they, in fact, hired these what you might call, well, they're kind of unaffiliated mages, like sort of like mercenaries, but they're wizards. Do you know what I mean?
Also,
okay.
Mercenaries.
It seems that way, yeah. That seems like they're mercenary war mages, essentially. But, well, I can't say they were very good. They didn't seem to do a lot of damage to you lot. You did a remarkable job of defending yourselves. But we have to wonder what their real purpose was, you know. Maybe were they testing the water or what were they doing? So just keep an eye out for that sort of thing. Obviously, there's not much you can do about it, but, you know, be on guard.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll remember the whistle this time, just in case.
Yeah, if you can keep them alive, that's really good. You know, I mean, you did a great job yesterday, and we really appreciate what you've done there. Give it a whistle if you can, if you remember. That's an important thing. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's for, because you know, if it's some sort of some sort of incursion that's going on. We've got this policy whereby we intend to enact a kind of a distraction, and this will keep the Vaingate authorities distracted off our backs, basically, while we get you out of there. We don't want you getting in trouble with the authorities, especially with the sorts of goods that you'll be dealing with, right?
Right, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that sounds very helpful.
Don't be
Yes.
surprised though if one of these sorts of distractions is to occur. It might be disturbing to you, and I don't want you to sort of be too concerned for your own safety. You should move away immediately if the distraction is to occur. You should move away immediately, and you'll probably know when there's a distraction, because you'll probably start smelling strange smells coming from nearby, probably. And maybe strange lights as well. It could be all sorts of strange magical phenomena may occur, and I don't want you to be too disturbed by it. It shouldn't affect you.
Shouldn't. I'll keep that in mind.
So another development has occurred today. So yesterday I was talking to you, was saying that we're going to move you to dig site number 2. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. We sent a team in yesterday, and they actually haven't come back. So we'd really appreciate it if you 4 could go and investigate and follow up on that. We're not sure exactly what the situation is there, and we're a little bit understaffed, as you well know. That's why you've been hired. And Dig Site 1 is already, taking up most of our resources, and trying to keep this whole operation undercover is very taxing on our resources. A great deal of our, between you and me, Adric, a great deal of our magical powers and influences are being utilized, just keeping a lid on the whole situation. So security in Dig Site 1, I'll be honest with you, is not as good as I would like it to be. It's just between you and me, and I would really appreciate it if you 4 could go and follow up and investigate what happened to the first team that went down there, because I'm a little bit concerned for their safety, honestly.
No problem, sir. Just leave it to us. And Hamir will be coming with us while we are investigating their disappearance.
Yeah, Hamir will be coming with you, that's right. Yeah.
Always good to have an extra hand.
Yes, very, very helpful. Thank you, Hamir. Should we go about this now?
Well,
I believe so, unless Andrew wanted to invite us in for a drink.
I do suggest you probably should go down to the mess hall and get yourself some food and breakfast. We've got some nice food this morning. I've organised some mead as well. You can even take some with you. I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't be able to take a little bit of comfort with you on the road. I think it would be a bit unfair, really. We don't have to
fine
be like
offer.
that.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. There's a few other things down there you'll find. What have we got? Oats this morning, is it? Yeah, a few other things. All right. Well, good luck. And yesterday, but I wanted to say too that for yesterday's work, we decided that definitely there'll be a bonus in order.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
What you brought in yesterday is a good haul, and it's going to be worth a lot to us. We really appreciate that work.
Very, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah.
That coin was something special, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So sorry, Russell. I've got to close the door.
Oh, what? Close.
I've got to go and close the door.
Close the door.
And Milford suddenly just froze in space.
And like that, he was gone.
Oh, sneaky
Bonuses
bastard.
for the boys. That's Stardust Sam 15. Delve too deep and you won't sleep. Bonuses
Also,
for the boys.
I must apologize for looking away every now and then.
Dodgy
Today I actually have the stream open on my phone, so
you do?
I'm reading this as it's happening.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm
Me
trying to
too,
run it
yeah.
myself as well. Yeah.
Oh, good.
That was ominous. I don't know if there's but I looked down and instantly went, oh no. Delve too deep and you won't sleep.
Thanks, Stardust. I can see you've been reading Lovecraft. I had to watch the new Netflix series, which I've heard is quite good.
Yeah, actually, I seen the new Netflix series. It was pretty good.
What series is that?
Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country.
Ah, I started watching it. The book is phenomenal. The book is amazing.
Oh, you've read the book?
Yeah,
Nice.
I couldn't really make it through the series, but the book is also phenomenal.
Wow.
There was a book, and I probably should read it.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Is he back yet? No. Oh, nearly.
Mostly setting up.
All right. Okay. Super Midnight Fan Club says, leave the door open for your mind. All right. Are we all back? Are we all ready? Have you all got your... You've all written your wills, etc., that sort of thing?
Oh, I
my
have,
will is
I have nothing
always-
left to lose.
Always standing.
All right.
Excuse the awful squeaking of my hydro flask. It's premium audio.
I'm back. Thank you
Welcome.
very much. Sorry about that.
Welcome
Where'd
back.
you go?
All good.
Milford obviously had to go and do something while you guys were having breakfast.
I had to go to the bathroom.
I was just about to say that.
All
Go
right.
to the damn bathroom. You know, I'm
Oh.
nervous. You know.
Well, you
Milford,
should-
your bladder.
You should tell me where you're going. We're in a dangerous area. Something could explode any minute. Itinerant and mages could break in at any moment. And you went to take a shite.
All right. Cut 2. 15 minutes later, you guys have fed. You've had your morning mead or whatever else that it is that you put into your system, and you're on the oxen cart, on the wagon, heading out of the gate of the annex, past the guards, and onto the cobbled streets of Carcanos, heading north from the Barachiel Envoy towards the palatial district tunnel.
Okay.
Or
Very
more
well.
like...
Hang on. I was going to roll off at some point, hadn't I?
That's
Oh,
some
wow.
very good clopping there, Russell.
I know, I should be a Foley artist, really.
Yeah, you should be.
I know. I've missed my calling.
There, Mortimer. There, Betsy. Keep it steady. We don't want anyone falling off. That's a good boy. Keep it still.
All right.
So, Amir, did you catch the sports ball last night? I'm joking. There's no sports down here.
He looks around at you. What did you say?
Sports. It's a wee joke. You know.
You
Yeah,
must
it's
forgive
what-
me. We do not understand these types of jokes in my country.
Oh, that's quite alright. It wasn't particularly funny joke. I had been kicked off this cart if you were anyone else, especially if you were a dwarf. No one has any time for my sense of humor. Hey, gentlemen.
Indeed.
That's not very nice.
Wonder where exactly are you from, Mr. Himir?
Well, given that I am here among the envoy from Barachiel, I should say I'm from Barachiel.
Well,
Does that not
yes.
make a certain sense?
Yes, but they might have imported you or brought you on as a contractor or something like that. I wasn't too sure, and
You're not the sharpest tool in this shed, are you?
well,
Why
I-
did they hire you?
I'm just
sir?
trying to make conversation, really.
Conversation. Wasted breath. Fear not. It's not my concern.
Well, okay, if that's the way you want to be.
Do you know where it is that we're going?
Edric?
Well,
Milford?
From what I can determine, from what a brief cursory glance told me, it leads to a giant graveyard.
Yes, it is a giant graveyard, an ossuary, in fact, beneath the city. That is
When
what
you
I
say-
have discovered.
You say giant graveyard. Do you mean giant as in the giants, or simply large as in many people are buried there?
Quite.
Don't think about that one too much. It's another poor joke.
The answer to that question is both.
Yes. I love a yes man. Nice.
You are very amused at all of this. You are aware that the previous party sent to this destination has not returned, and that may well be our fate.
Maybe. We'll see.
But well, we have been tasked with investigating this place and following up on what exactly happened, and we have been advised to pull ourselves out if any trouble should occur. So I think we can manage. Yes.
That is very good then. I shall be looking forward to the opportunity to relay your most excellent work to our superiors at the end of day. I am curious, however, as to why it is that your friend here, Mr. Brixton, was it, seems to have relations to the lepers of Naught, and how that was to come about. Although you did admit it straight away.
I live here, my good man. I live here.
Yes.
I know everything about here there is to know.
Oh.
I have nothing to hide. The lepers of whatever don't like me, and I don't like them.
I see. Well, it seems they don't like you. And I should hope that by association they don't like, or don't not like, me either.
Oh, well, there's no accounting for taste. They don't know style when they see it, obviously.
The wizard ruffles his cloak somewhat and fingers around inside some pockets inside his cloak as you travel.
You're getting cold, Hamir. I admit it's a bit of a balmy evening.
It is a little cold, yes.
Well, hopefully the graveyard will be a bit warmer. Ironic.
Ironic indeed. So the cart approaches the tunnel.
Okay. This is the tunnel without the door I found, eh?
This is the tunnel with the door that you found inside it.
Okay, I've got to let me know when we're at the door, and please distract the what's name guys.
So you say that out loud, or how?
No. Sorry. Oh, my train of thought. Okay, sorry guys.
All right. So when we get to the door, I'm going to try to. I'm gonna lean into Bessie and Mortimer and hey, are you alright, guys? Oh, sorry, they're a bit distressed around here since the attack, and I'm gonna see if I can just very subtly freak them out. So I guess would you like me to roll a animal handling check?
You're going to make two checks. You're going to make an animal handling check, but first you're going to make a perception check.
Deception.
Yeah.
I am not good at that. First, that one. That is an 18. Lucky me. Yeah.
All right. Well, you're pretty sure that you're in the area whereabouts the door was, based on the distance to the exit and the length of the tunnel and so on. But the problem is you can't actually see the door because it is a secret door. So trying to guesstimate exactly where it is a little tricky. But you did roll an 18, so you're pretty sure.
Nice.
Now for your animal handling check.
And
Please.
I guess at advantage, thank you, runes. Advantage, you failed me. I got an 8.
Oh no.
They're just so well behaved. They're such good cows.
Right up. Yeah, right. Well, so you're trying to use your animal handling to spook them, and so this is reversed, isn't it? That's basically what's going on. So you failed to spook them. That's the point here.
I've taken such good care of them. They cannot fail me. They will not fail me.
They just don't believe that you actually would do this. So they seem to just keep kind of moving in the same pace. One of them flicks its ear at you like, get off the grass, Aldrich.
Oh, Betsy, that's a good girl. You pull Mortimer back in line. You cow.
Yeah.
They did mention that if the lepers were to attack, we would smell something, wouldn't we? They did mention
They said if
they would
somebody
smell
was to
something.
attack, and they said if they were to let loose their distraction, you might smell something.
I am going to try subtly cast prestidigitation to make an odd odor.
You don't need prestidigitation to do that. Just kidding. Okay, so what can you describe the odd odor that you're going to create?
It is. It's like a sulfuric, like a thick, eggy kind of smell, but not. I get what you're thinking, but like kind of like Rotorua kind of eggy, like sulfuric to the point where it's beyond natural.
Sort of
it seems
nauseating
almost otherworldly in its smell.
Right. Right. So what you're getting from the from can you read the chat?
Yeah, eggy fart.
Right.
Stardust has got the same idea.
Right.
Eggy fart with just a little bit of hell mixed in with it.
A delicious sausage dinner from Super Midnight Fan Club. Yep. Okay, so this is what you create. And the wizard, Hamir, casts back his hood suddenly and starts looking about. You notice that he has very short cropped black hair, and he flashes his eyes about a moment. Do you smell that?
Oh,
Disgusting. Mortimer, was that you? You
Move
disgusting
quickly.
boy.
Adric, move quickly. We must move quickly now.
All right, all
You're,
right.
In fact,
you're obstinate,
Oh,
Edric.
you don't
obstinate,
think we
Edric.
should-
They're a little bit too relaxed.
in fact,
I think.
halt. We must turn around.
Oh,
I
You don't think we should
slow the oxen
send
down.
someone to scout out the area? Have a look around.
I'll tell you what,
Make
good
sure they're
sir.
not going to attack it right now.
The wizard looks at you, Edrin, and after a moment, where you think he's about to kill you or something, he says that is a good plan.
I'll do that for you.
Brixton.
Send someone
Yes,
to each.
Brixton, you're very sneaky.
Send one of you each to each end of the tunnel, so that
Right,
we can decipher or discern from whence this incursion is coming.
I'll do that right
yeah.
now.
Brixton, off your trot.
And he does trot off.
Okay, Brixton, are you going to the other end of the tunnel, or to the end of the tunnel that you just came into, the entrance or the exit?
I'm going to the end where the door is.
Okay, well that's behind you, so that's the entrance, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just check it behind us because you never know.
All right, so you do that. Are you actually doing that, or are you heading to the door?
I'm actually doing that.
Okay, so you head all the way back to the entrance.
Yeah.
All right. Now, none of you guys actually know what's going on, so I want you guys to all make perception checks, except for Edrin, because obviously he created the eggy fart smell to begin with.
perception.
That's a 7.
A 7.
Oh, yeah.
Can-
I'm sure it's fine. It's just Mortimer, you disgusting boy. God.
13 for me.
13 for you. Okay. Perception for Milford. Your perception check comes out at a massive natural 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, with a very strong natural 1, Milford, you can smell this heavy smell. You can see from the way that the wizard is reacting. One of these distractions must have gone off. So there must be an incursion going on right now. Your blood is pumping. Your adrenaline is flowing. You run to the end of the passageway. Nothing is happening there. What are you doing? Blood, your heart's
Go
thumping.
back to the door.
Okay, you
Where's the
run back to the door.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the hood up on my cloak of elvenkind and run down to the and run against one of the walls to the other end of the
The
tunnel
passage, okay.
and see what's going on that direction.
All right. What was your perception check, Letha?
Mine
Yep.
was 13.
13. Okay. So, right. So you think you know what's going on. You've got a kind of a feeling that Edrin's putting this on, but you're not entirely sure. You don't have proof of that. That feel about right to you? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you run to the other end of the tunnel. There doesn't seem to be anything going on up there. When you get there, Adric, what are you up to?
I got a 7 on that, so I think I think it's just Mortimer. He's just shat himself, so gonna slow it down, have a gander over the side and say, no, you're clean. Okay, well, sorry, boy. Hamir, do you want me to slow down and hold up here, or
Stop
should I
the
speed up and
cart.
get to...
Stop the wagon now.
All right, guys. Oh, slow down. That's my boys and girl.
We must be prepared to travel in either direction at a moment's notice.
That's
In
a
fact,
good point.
here may be a good place to make a stand.
As good as any, really.
Prepare yourselves.
A stand against what?
Anything that might come at us.
It could
I
be.
see.
Could be a bone giant. Could be a dragon. Yeah, could be hell itself. You don't know.
Stop
I'm
talking.
going to walk back up.
Leith, what? Sorry.
I'm
what?
going to walk back up to the wagon,
Okay.
and sit beside Adrian and say, "Was that you?" Sort of whisper.
I just went back.
Deception check from you, please, Leith.
Deception.
Yep.
Okay. 9.
Oh no.
According to your audience, the wizard is cranky.
he big cranky.
Okay. Very well. Okay, so Milford, what are you doing? You're up by the door.
And opening the door, going in.
Okay, so you need to find the door again. So
No, fuck. Really? Oh, sorry about language. Okay.
oh, nice, but you did roll a 19, so that's a 21. You find the door, boof, it slides open. Okay, and you go in.
Go in.
Right, do you leave it open?
Yes.
Okay.
I shut it and hope that I can find an opening here. There must have been an opening on the other side.
All
Because
right.
otherwise they wouldn't have been able to come out.
Oh, now I can see the rolls again. Haha. Nice. Okay, so you go in, you close the door behind you. That's what I'm getting, yeah?
Yep.
All right. And you find that there is a set of steps, a narrow set of steps that lead upwards. And you can smell some interesting smells, actually, funnily enough, but not sulfur. You can smell like cinnamon and other smells.
It's a familiar smell from a gang, maybe?
From a gang? Like
from the...
what kind of smell would you be expecting?
From the plaguey dudes.
From the lepers of Naught?
Yeah.
Well, that is a name of the gang. It's not necessarily what they are.
Yeah, well, they're real pains in the... Okay. Yes. Anyway.
Okay, so you head up the stairs, and it leads to a curved passageway that curls around a bit, and you sort of. I'm going to make a survival check to see if you can keep your sense of direction about you. You make a 17 with plus 0, so you get 17. All right, you've got a pretty good idea which direction you're facing, and you've gone up about 3 floors up through this tunnel, and you get to a old wooden trap door that's on a kind of a 45 or maybe even a 30-degree angle.
Yes.
And it's closed.
Open it carefully, if I can.
All right, so very carefully you open this trapdoor, and you can hear the sounds of the night, and you feel the cold breeze of, or the cool breeze of the city air upon your face and mouth and tongue as you open that door. And
Take my hit.
Above you can see the stars, and then you see branches of a tree, and you see a low wall, a stone wall in front of you. Very, very clean stone wall. But yeah.
Get out a little to have a look.
Okay, so you being careful, obviously that's what you said, yeah?
Yes,
All right,
yes,
so
yes.
a stealth check might be in order?
I think so.
All right, stealth, you get plus 5 for stealth, which is fantastic, because you rolled a 2. So that's a big fat 7. Someone said they might be the Cinnamon Gang, or possibly Mulled Ale, as far as the smells go anyway. Okay, so you have a look out, and what you'd see is there's this garden, and the back of this... It takes you a minute to work out where you are, but you think this is the back of some mansion in the palatial district. And this is a garden, and in this garden there is like a fake ruins called a folly. Typically it's called a folly.
Okay.
And so you've popped out of the back of this little folly, out the back of this mansion's garden.
Okay. Right. So that's where it leads to.
Yeah, it looks like a house, a big, big house. In the
It's
distance...
not Thingamajig's house, is it? Mr. Gangster himself.
No, it's way too far away for that.
Okay.
You're in an entirely different part of the city.
All right. All right. Is there anything I can lock it down to? Like, can I see a building that I know is in a certain area?
We can make a check to see if you can figure that out. I think a perception check might be in order for that.
Yep.
Oh. 16. All right. Yeah, you think you can see a statue beyond the wall of the backyard of this house that you believe is on Ida Solom Avenue.
Okay. Okay. Right. Go back down real quick.
All right, you race back downstairs.
Yeah, I'm running at pace.
All right. Pause. What's everybody else been doing while this is going on? Shall we start with Adrian? What have you been doing? Well, you're munching. I'm going to skip over to Leith.
Just keeping an eye on Idrin, basically, because
Okay.
I suspect he's the one that's been messing with our olfactory
Senses. Right.
senses,
All right. And
and I'm not sure why.
okay. All right. Adric.
I have got off the cart now that I've stopped it, and I'm shield ready, hammer out, and I'm posted myself in front of my 2 oxen, just in case someone attacks.
All right. You notice that the wizard is standing there, Hamir, with his hood back and his short cropped black hair, and he's got these lines of makeup down his face, and he's got this flame just ready, sitting in his palm, ready to fire at anything that comes in any direction. He's just primed to blow somebody up right now. All right. And about a couple of minutes pass while this is going on. Leith, would you like to make an intelligence check?
That's a 10.
That's a 10. Okay. Well, you definitely realize that you've been here for a while, and the cart hasn't been moving. Can you make a perception check as well, please?
Mm-hmm.
So Stardust Sam
7.
115 is calling you Milford Careful Brixton, and Edrin the Odorous, or is it Odiferous? Odorous, yes. Super Midnight Fan Club says the Cinnamon Gang. Excellent. All right, so
We've already got nicknames.
a 17. What was the last check? A perception check was 16.
Perception. No, the perception check was 7.
7. Okay. All right. In which case, you don't notice anything in particular, except that one of your fingernails has got a hangnail on it right now. Sort of comes to your attention. It's one of those little details that suddenly pops up. Okay, Milford.
I can't stand my fingers getting like this. It is annoying.
Right. Adrian, are you ready to make any actions? Yeah.
Kind of for show, but also just for preparation and later.
Yeah.
I pull out my wand, I trace a sigil on my chest, and I cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay. All right. That sounds reasonable.
But other than that, other than that, I'm kind of just looking around. I can't see in the dark,
Okay.
but I'm just looking around to potentially see if I can see if there's any sign of Brixton.
Right. Well, you notice that Brixton's vanished. He went off to the other end of the hall, to the other end of the tunnel, then he started coming back, then he disappeared. You also notice that Leith is watching you very carefully, and the mage is standing there with this firebolt ready to flick at any moment. Adric is still... You're by the cart, aren't you, at the moment, Adric?
Yeah. I think at this point I'd be a little bit wary of thinking, okay, it's not what we think it is, because the two oxen are both pretty chill.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, well, I think we've been here for a little while, Hamir. We may be fine to move on.
I do think we can press forward, yes. I have a feeling that there's something not quite right going on, but we're pretty much safe.
All right. Milford, you come out back through the door.
Oh, yes. Sweet.
But I'm going to make you do a stealth check to get them to come through the door without being noticed. And it's a big 15, actually. Okay. So as you guys are having this conversation, and Hamir looks at you while you're saying that, Brixton's coming back down the hallway.
Have I seen him? Or...
Yep, you see him.
Mr. Brixton, welcome back. I take it you saw nothing.
Oh no, there's nothing down there.
Good. I mean, I think we're safe. Maybe just a gas leak or something.
Maybe. And I'll turn and pointedly look at Idrin.
There's absolutely nothing down there.
So,
I think you'll be fine.
Very well.
Yes, well, it seems to have dissipated now. I think. I can't smell anything in particularly sulfuric. Can you, Master Hamir?
I do not smell anything now, but I noticed something earlier. Adric, you are the highest ranked member among your crew here. You shall decide who to send forward and check the rest of the route. I should wish to see that the rest of the route to the second dig site is clear.
Brixton, you're the quickest and also the sneakiest. So yeah, you're probably the best to be the scout among us. So
I like to be called the sneakiest, but yes, I'll go on in front, boss. Anything you say.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Take point. Thank you very much, Mr. Brixton.
Oh, no troubles. No troubles.
Hamir, should we maintain our position or shall we follow behind at a distance?
I think we should... Up to you.
I am aware that we are... we're running short on time and we have people that may or may not need us.
Yes, this is a good point. Continue.
Alright. And I'll wait until Brixton's got trotted off further ahead of us.
Right.
And then I'll start getting the oxen cart following him at a distance.
All right. Well, remarkably, there are no further encounters or other events of interest along the way.
Oh, really?
And other than that, I mean, Brixton, you notice that there are mages still guarding this area of the Ludovar district, heading towards Anzal and the Anzal wall. And as you get closer to the dig site, you get to a point where there are a couple of guards that seem to be just there, just in case anybody from the public comes along and they need to be turned away. You see some ravens. It's very quiet. You hear dogs barking in the distance. There's literally nobody around you. There's just these large overhanging ruins in this part of the city. For those who aren't aware or new to the stream, this part of the city was damaged in a battle about 100 years ago and hasn't yet been repaired. And so there's an aqueduct somewhat partially collapsed, heading overhead in places and various archways, and this very quiet and quite eerie is probably the word.
I don't like quite neary.
You know, that's ironic considering your role in this whole endeavor.
But I haven't done nothing.
Well, you seem like the sort of gentleman that thrives on sneaky and quiet and all of that stuff.
No, I
I
don't
assure you it's a
thrive on it.
compliment.
I don't mind it when
Quiet
I'm
and
doing
eerie
it.
is a good chance.
Oh,
Anyway,
Where did he
Anyway.
go?
I'll make my way out to these guards.
Milford is always being called upon for the dangerous stealth stuff. He's innocent, just an innocent rogue.
roguishly
Me,
innocent.
innocent. You all made me uninnocent.
Uninnocent. That
You took my purity away.
purity.
Well, you're the one most willing to go.
I'm not willing.
We seldom ask you just go. Oh,
You
I
see,
just know that if I don't go, you'll end up dead, one of you.
he fights
well.
against it so hard, though. That's what I'm always impressed with. You know, he's just like,
Oh,
no, don't.
my
don't.
nature compels me, but my nature says no.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. We're working, you know.
All right, so you
this
guys.
this is true.
You finally get to the second dig site, and you go through another archway. And Milford, you no longer have to go ahead anymore because there's nowhere left to go ahead. There's a couple of guards around. There's a muddy patch where various oxen have pulled up here in the past, in the last 24 hours or so. The rains have stopped, but the ground is still very wet and muddy and full of pools of water. There's also flies and lots of sand flies, sort of hovering around the ground. It's not very pleasant in that respect. And there's this pillar that's kind of leaning over on one side into this wall, and there's this gap that goes down. There's this a couple of stairs that you can see, these huge steps that go down, descending into the darkness. And the couple of guards are standing there, and there's two apprentices and a wizard along with these two guards. So altogether there's 5 figures sort of milling about at this location. Other than that, there's not a lot of activity. They seem to be very quiet and very, I don't know, they seem quite focused, actually. Ravens perched up around. At least 2 ravens.
Well, you're the boss, so shouldn't you say something to them?
Yes, Amir, you're the boss, shouldn't you? I'm just pulling your robe. Don't worry.
No, you're
so-
right. I should probably be the one.
Oh, well, that makes my job a whole lot easier.
And he goes across to the wizards there, and they have a conversation in a language that none of you guys actually understand. It must be the language of Barachiel. Up until this point, you've probably not heard a lot of it, or even known that they had their own language. So there, haha.
Secrets.
Yes, secrets. So Hamir comes back over to you after this conversation, and he says, "Are you prepared?"
Well, as prepared as we can be.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Unless, you gentlemen could spare a few measly portions, just in case there's something less than gentle in there.
Measly what?
Portions.
Food,
You
you
know,
mean?
for drinking and healing. I have got mead on me, but that's a different kind of spiritual healing.
Potions is
Potions.
what my stout friend is asking for.
Forgive
for
me, I did not
translating.
understand his thick rustic accent.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I speak 4 languages. I could have said, it's fine.
Oh, don't start him talking. We'll never get there.
Adric's gonna walk over, like muttering himself. He's gonna kick a rock.
Okay. Can I get you to roll a d20? I just...
Oh, okay. It's just a okay. It's a 14.
It's a 14. Okay, that's fine. The rock. Where would you like the rock to go?
I guess like if it just like if I just like gently kick it and it tumbles into the crevasse.
Okay, it goes into down the steps, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you hear it go, clock, 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 clock down the steps.
And with every clock, ooh, ooh. It was an accident, I promise.
Fool, son of a took!
I was just thinking there. Fool of a fogdar.
Ironically, my character for the podcast I do, his name is Peregrine. So
Ah, okay, hilarious. All right, so if you guys are ready, Hamir steps up to the entrance, and he says, "Now would be a good time for you to use your light spell, if you so desire, if one of you hath it."
Yes, I'm able to cast light.
Unless you wish to travel in the dark.
Oh, I think we can all see just fine. We've all got dark vision, don't we?
I'm starting to like it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have I injured your poor wee human heart?
The wizard looks over to you, Adric. You have not injured my heart.
Oh, I didn't realize you were human too. Forgive me, Hamir. It's just a
Don't you shut up.
No, I really don't.
Mr. Edrin, sir,
Yes?
do you have any sort of light source?
I do have 2 potions of dark vision. However, they only last for an hour, and I don't know how long we're going to be down there for. And split between myself and Master Hamir, I do believe if we're down there for more than an hour, we'll definitely be going blind after an hour.
Well, I can help if you run out.
Ah, thank you very much. Master Hamir, would you care for the ability to see, I suppose?
I would prefer light, personally, but if that is what you insist upon...
If you could give me an item, Mr. Hamir, I can put a light source on it.
He points his staff at you, basically. Holds it in your direction.
Yeah, I'll just touch the top of his staff and light it up with a light spell.
Ah, yes, very satisfactory. Thank you. You have skill, young man.
It will last you for an hour. If it runs out, just come to me and I will refresh it.
This is a cantrip?
Yes.
Oh, good. I should not see you use your power
very useful.
Wastefully.
No. Yes. This is just one of the little tricks that I know. So I hope it's a help. Edrin, would you care for some?
I think I might be all right. I use my if we're going with light, I'll use minor conjuration. I'll conjure up a lantern and then use prestidigitation to light the wick.
Is this going to Russell? Is this going to affect our dark vision?
Dark vision. Well, it depends on your marching order.
Right.
Really? If you're standing really close to it, then yes. If you're facing it, yes. If it's between you and anything that you are trying to perceive, then yes. However, if you've got your back to it, it shouldn't affect you too terribly.
Yes, I'll definitely go in the rear if it makes it easier for you 3.
Yeah, I think probably Edrin and Hamir perhaps go to the back of the party, and with the rest of us that can see in the dark quite well should press forward.
May I have a marching order from our party, please?
I should probably go first, as I'm the only one with a physical shield.
Adric, followed by Milford, I assume? Or who?
Yes, I'll follow him.
All right.
I'll go third.
You're very quiet, though, Edric.
Oh, I'm just lost in my thoughts.
Then Edrin.
Oh, no, I better go in front if you were going to get lost in your bloody thoughts.
And
We're
then
going into a giant tomb. I wouldn't dare. I got so much to see.
I'll tell you what. You stand behind me, and if I need a shield, I'll signal to you like this, and I show him a way to signal, and then you can go in front of me.
Adric curtsies and goes, by all means, lead.
I don't really want to, but I will.
Oh, wait, okay, well, you were so adamant a second ago. What do you really want?
But if you make so much noise with that stuff on and that, what are you wearing?
Chainmail, a bit of leather. There's a bit of meat on my hip.
Oh no, that won't make so much noise. So
time
you
is
can run.
wasting, children.
Yes, I think we should go.
That's good. Excellent.
Probably a good idea.
Okay, let's go then.
All right, so I've got Adric at the front of the marching order.
Yeah,
Is that...
he is now because he said he, I decided okay, and then it's me.
All right.
I don't know about the slot at all.
All right then. Very good. So Adric's at the front. All right.
You're a dwarf breathing for 30 meters.
30 meters.
Keep an eye on that chat. It's hilarious, these guys. All right, so
Secret tunnel.
Adric, you sort of have to bend, even as a dwarf, you have to bend down slightly to get under the first fallen pillar into this, essentially, it's a tunnel, it's a stairwell, but the stairs seem to be much bigger than the actual... You get the feeling that basically you've got a set of stairs and there's something has collapsed on either side of you, and the stairs go out further than the edges of the actual tunnel that you're in, and whatever it is has collapsed onto the stairs and made the stairwell much more narrow than it originally ever was. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd squeeze you a lot.
And so the steps, very quickly you realize the steps are huge, and you have to literally kind of hop off each step and onto the next one, and then you walk about 5-6 feet to the next edge, and then jump down onto the next step. Okay?
Yeah.
So you go like this for about a couple of minutes, down about 20-30 steps. And you get deeper and deeper. I'll get you all to make perception checks now.
That's good thinking.
All right.
21.
21, wow.
Yes.
Right, Milford,
5.
5. Edrin, why do you fail your perception check?
I am a little bit... after having 9 drinks, I'm really feeling the effects of my hangover now. I'm starting to get a little bit hazy. The light shining on in front of my face and the darkness, it's all kind of getting a little bit like...
All right, fair enough.
I got a 9.
And Barry, you got a natural 20. So Adric, okay, you're at the front, you got a 9, but I think probably, Adric, you tell us, why did you fail your perception check? What are you thinking about?
I'm probably just a bit too focused on getting down these steps in my diminutive dwarf form.
Right.
But I'm also remarking on the architecture.
Right, and you notice there's a few beetles crawling around here too, quite big frickin' beetles walking around on the walls of this descent. Right? Milford, your spidey senses sort of tingling. You've thought you could hear something in the distance. Quite a long way away though, but your half-elven ears kind of prick up a little as you're going down there. You thought you could hear some sort of echoey noise, like, hard to say what it was.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
That noise. Listen.
No.
No, I don't hear anything.
You lot have to walk a lot quieter than you've been doing. Because I just heard something. It's an echoey noise. Can you hear it?
No,
No, nothing.
I
Oh
hear
my-
nothing.
Ah,
Would
well,
you
you-
like to send a scout?
oh, why do we always want to send a scout? Okay,
Because you're so good at it, Milford.
I'll go and scout around, see what I can find.
Thank you very much.
Oh, God. Okay. It goes off.
All right, so you're going to go forward, Milford, huh?
Yep. Getting ready to park or any core that he can, if he needs to.
All right. Well, you will need to make an acrobatics check because there is as you go forward, you go down about another 5-6 steps, which is about 30-40 feet, and there is a gap in the floor, a crevasse that goes down some immeasurable distance beyond your dark vision, so at least 60 feet.
Okay.
And it's quite wide.
I got rope of climbing, by the way, if I'm allowed to have that rope of climbing.
Unfortunately, you do not, because that belongs to the Order of the Daughters of Twilight and was returned.
Oh, I don't like those women. Okay. All right. Let's get on with it then. I'm going to have to brave hell as per usual.
However, you you do have your climbing claws that you had manufactured some time ago.
Okay.
So
I will use those then.
All right, so you're going to make a climbing check to climb across the edge of basically using one of the pillars that's collapsed. To
And
climb
as I'm doing
over
it,
the-
I estimate how difficult it is, because I'm going to have to tell them how difficult it is for them. I think it is for them.
Right.
Okay, let's go.
Well, you roll an 18 with a +7, and you get 25. So for you, it's easy, no problem. It's not going to be hard for anybody. Obviously, it was piss and easy, really. But no,
All right.
to be fair, you rolled a really high number. I think it would only be fair that you made a good judgment too.
Okay.
Using your skill and your tools and your knowledge, you know how to get across there. But yeah, it will be tricky for them. You might have to make some sort of provision for them to get across that.
Okay, I'll think about that, what I can do.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So you keep going.
Yeah. I'm
Right.
listening for that sound too, by the way.
All right. We'll make another perception check as we go down the stairs, and as you get towards the bottom, just the eerie sound of the wind whistling up ahead.
Oh, I hate that.
You arrive at the bottom of the steps. There is this large broken gate, and when I say large, it's frickin' enormous large, like large enough for a giant to enter and exit from. Although the top of it looks like it's kind of sunk in, and you can sort of see where there's various vines and plants and growth that's kind of coming through there that's weakening the structure above you. So you don't feel especially safe standing in this particular spot. And you look past that point through the gate into a large kind of a hall. You see pillars on either side of that hall, and then it just cuts off. It falls off into darkness because your dark vision drops off at that point. You think you can
Okay.
see some sort of maybe it was a pool or a pond or something in the center, but it's hard to say. Kind of a square or even maybe rectangular shaped structure in the center of the room.
Okay.
It's quite a big
All
room
right.
though.
What I'm going to do now is this vine you were talking about,
Yeah.
or this plant. Can I put enough of it together to make something for them to walk across that gap safely?
Well, you do have normal ropes too. I mean, I don't know how many of you have rope, but you certainly have rope.
Okay. Okay.
You think you might have seen Adric has a rope. I'm assuming Adric has a dungeoneering kit or something. I'm not entirely sure.
50 feet.
There you go. So you've seen Adric's rope at some point while you were getting ready to leave earlier in the night.
Okay, I'll go back then.
All right. So Milford comes back to you guys, and he's a little bit exasperated. He looks like he's been sweating as he comes back out of the darkness towards you guys.
Okay, we're gonna need you 50 feet of rope.
What a coincidence. That's exactly how many feet of rope I have. How did you know?
I know a lot about rope, believe me, you. The only time I don't like rope is when I'm hanging from it by the neck. All right.
Has that happened for you before,
Has
Milford?
that happened?
Oh, it's no. It's never actually happened, but I wouldn't like to experience it, you know.
Yeah, good point.
Well, yes.
This way.
Hypothetical then.
Now, will you lot shut up so I can tell you what's there? Now, listen.
Oh, I'm sorry, Milford.
Okay, you've got how many steps, Russell?
What did I say? I'm guessing about say 17 steps.
You got 17 steps, and then you're going to come to this wide gap, you know. And you're going to have to kind of climb across this wide gap, which is what we're going to use the rope for. And then you're going to get to this gate thing, you know, covered with plants and stuff. And it leads to some kind of what looks like a hole. Okay? I can't see beyond the gate too far because I can only see so far. You know, mind you, I'm not as bad as a human. They can't see very far. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Didn't mean to insult you humans. All right, so it's going to be a little bit difficult, but you lot can manage it, I think.
You know, what's the worst that could happen?
But you could fall into the bloody pit and be dead.
That was
Did
rhetorical.
Did the pit seem to be particularly deep, or was there anything in the pit?
Was there anything in the pit?
It was dark. It was you saw weeds and plant growth down there. You saw beetles crawling around down below.
You know how we seen beetles as we came down? There's plants, it's dark, and
this
there's
one.
beetles. You know, and I don't mean the kind with drums and guitars. Okay.
Right, you get hit by a refrigerator that falls out of the sky.
That's a weird looking box.
And the refrigerator says, "Oh no, not again!" as it falls.
Yes.
Lead the way, Mr. Brixton. I hand him.
The meta referencing.
The meta referencing.
I figure if our audience can be funny, I can be funny too. Okay, let's go.
Cool.
All right. So you guys climb down the steps till you get to the crossing, shall we call it, the abyss of death, which is about 15 feet wide. For your information, so it's a little bit harder. You probably couldn't jump it. So Brixton, you're going to take the rope, I take it? That's
Yes.
the plan? Okay, and also for your information, Milford, you happen to have on you some pitons. Little spikes, metal spikes. And
I know what pitons are.
Excellent. Just making sure.
Yep.
And a hammer. So, you know, you could potentially utilize such tools if you did desire.
I am utilizing them, but am I doing well with them? Let's throw for that.
Let's throw for that. All right.
Actually, 15 feet across, you say?
Yes, I
Just-
see.
To stop any sort of malarkey with having to throw. You keep trying throws. I'll pick the end of the rope up with my mage hand and place it over the other side.
Okay.
Very good.
And I guess I can get my mage hand to tie something off.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Yep. Find like a stone or something to tie it around or put on top of it.
And
If,
Super Midnight Fan Club, no, there are no croutons, only pitons. Okay? Are we clear? Right? Can we move on now? Thank you very much.
Croutons you eat, don't you?
Yes. Yes. All right,
Oh.
so...
Hard enough to embed in a cliff face.
Yes, that is also true. It'd be very tricky
I
to
don't
embed.
know. It depends how much.
Dude, you just derailed my whole role-playing scene with your frickin' croutons. God damn it. You're not...
Enhanced it.
Don't worry about the croutons. I think my beetle thing was better than that.
We were doing so well. Everything was so serious. These guys were on the edge of their seats. Croutons.
That was Russell's fault, not mine.
What was the... Okay, all right. Milford, you're making an acrobatics check, goddammit. Yeah. Yeah.
Remember, I've already done it
You
by
have.
myself before. Yeah.
And you rolled a natural 20, which adds up to 27. So Milford basically just kind of leaps onto the wall, climbs along it, it's incredible. Like, you've never seen anybody do acrobatics like this in your lives. He is like the lithest, most coordinated half elf acrobat you've ever seen. Like, I'm inclined to say he runs up the wall and runs down the other side.
My God.
That was a very good move.
Just
Really
parkour,
quite
there you go.
something.
He just bolts up the wall and then down the other side with the rope in his hand and hooks it over various branches as well as he does so, sticking out bits and pieces. All right, you get to the other side. And
What
you
move
hammer these
was
down.
that?
What move was that?
What move
That-
are you talking about?
That run across the wall. It was very nice.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, we're all very impressed. Thank you, Mr. Brixton. Do continue.
No trouble. Can you fellas come over now? Because I don't like being over here by myself, you know.
All right, so I'm going to make everybody can make a athletics check or an acrobatics check, but you can have advantage each because of the rope situation.
And Leaf, don't you fall because you don't float down, you know, like a leaf.
Oh.
17.
Yeah, Adric. Okay, no worries.
Please don't put it that way.
I got a 19.
Leith gets a 20. Wow.
I'm so glad that I rolled that we were rolling advantage on that because I rolled a 1 and a 19.
Wow.
So my total was a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, and Edrin, what's your acrobatics?
Did mine not come up?
Edrin, I'm not
I
seeing
rolled a
it.
5 and a 17.
Okay, a 5 and a
I'll
17. All right,
let me try to do it again if you want.
that's okay. You
Just for the audience's sake here, we're able to see all of our rolls because D&D Beyond has updated just recently to be able to include that on our campaign sheets. So that's fantastic.
It occurs to me that I can do a thing, which I will do in short order.
If you can do a thing, you do it really well. Don't bugger up anything.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's all going to disappear, isn't it?
Now, check this out.
Mine not up again yet. Oh, nice.
D&D
What's he
Beyond.
doing? Because I can't see it.
But yeah, now we can't see it. So
Watch this.
What
There's
if
the
we watch-
rolls over there. How's that? You probably can't quite
yeah,
see
cool.
all of it. I'm gonna resize it a little bit. That will work.
Nice.
I can't see nothing.
There we go. Oh, you can't see the stream, Barry. That's why. You have to
Oh,
be looking at
okay.
Twitch.
I see what you mean. Okay. All right. Anyway, we're impressed with that. Should we get going now?
Yes, let's
Okay.
go. Let's go.
Right.
How did Hamir do getting across?
Hamir. Ah, that is an excellent question. How does Hamir do? He does all right. He's the least coordinated out of the lot of you by the looks of it, but he gets a 15. So he manages to get across. And he climbs down off the rope and steadies himself on the other side. He seems to be quite happy about that. So, yes. Indeed.
Nice.
Now what,
I might
Brixton?
get my
Where do we
rope
go
back.
from here? Down the stairs, I assume.
Down the stairs, down the stairs, and down the stairs.
And our friend Adric, then, you will return to the front, I assume?
Well, once we've got to stable ground, yes, absolutely.
Is this not stable ground?
Well, we have to go down further, don't we?
Wow.
Let me go down in front. I'll tell you when to change. Come
What
on,
is it?
let's go then. For God's sake, I wish you people would organize yourselves.
T. Earl
He
Grey
says
Hart.
he's money on the way down there.
T. Earl
Who's
Grey Hart
disorganized
says,
here? You're the one telling us off for the disorganization, but I'm just following along.
Hey, Milford, you're taking point on this one because the rest of us aren't quite so dexterous as you.
All right, Milford, are you going to go first, are you?
Yes, I'm gonna go first.
All right, so you're going to make a stealth check?
Yes, because, I like stealth. It means I don't get killed in 24 seconds.
Ooh.
Oh, don't tell me.
Ooh, 24, mate.
Wow.
All right, so
job.
Milford basically just steps out of the pool of light and into the shadows. Boof, he's gone like a ghost. Of course, you've all got dark vision, so he doesn't actually disappear like a ghost, but that's okay. We can imagine. And he disappears down the stairs and moves up to the edge of the archway. Do you move to the left side or the right side of the archway?
The most secure side.
That would be the left side. The other side seems a bit iffy, although none of this... The rooftop in this whole section down here feels like it's just sagging.
Can you lot hear me?
We can hear you just fine.
Yes.
Go on the left
What?
side. Stay on the left side when you come down.
So you're calling out at this point. This is kind of... Okay, so the stealth is no longer...
Yep.
Okay, so are we going on the
Because-
left, right?
All right.
No, not the right, the left.
Oh, the left.
The left, yes. Go on the left. Right.
That's right. That's right. The left.
Not go on the left. Yes, go on the left, not the right.
Please take the left-hand path.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying.
The left-hand
I
path.
do
Okay.
the thing.
So you take the left-hand path down the stairs towards the left-hand pillar of the archway, the portal, into the
Where I'm
void
standing.
beyond. As you're heading down the steps behind Milford, how far behind is the next person?
I'd probably say about maybe. Is it me or did someone else want to take over?
I was assuming it was you.
Okay, cool. I'm probably about maybe 5-10 feet behind him.
All right. Can you make a perception check, please?
Yes. That isn't a 21.
A 21. A 21. All right. You see something descending from above Milford Brixton.
Milford, eyes skywise.
I look up.
You see this white spider, huge white spider with limbs, long gangly limbs, descending on a thread from the ceiling.
Parkour is into action. I'm out of there.
All right. Everybody can roll for initiative, please.
Oh,
Not shit. Ah, well, that's a 9.
A 9. And if
I'm the fittest of shit.
Steve,
I rolled a 1.
you rolled a 1. Can you keep track of the initiatives for me, please, Steve? I'm
Yep.
going to
I'll be last.
bring up my encounters.
Don't worry about your encounters. I want my initiative.
Stardust Sam. Yay, a normal Aussie spider.
Edric got a 9.
Yes, Adric got a 9.
Who else got what?
I got a 12, and I can't imagine why my stuff isn't showing up on the log.
I'm thinking it's got to do with your character not being connected to the right campaign, but we'll figure that out later. I don't want to slow down the game figuring it out right now.
Mhm.
In the
But
middle of dying.
I'm pretty sure it's got to do with
important thing.
making sure that you're in the right campaign. Okay, I'm going to roll your initiative, Milford. It is a 15. 15 for Milford. Okay, and Edrin, what's your initiative?
It's 12.
I got a
12.
thank you, Lee.
Leith, what's your initiative?
Mine was 2.
2. 2. All right, and Adric,
My initiative was a 9.
a 9.
9.
All right.
And what do we have for Hamir?
Hamir gets a 20.
Whoa.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
All right. Okie dokie.
How big is the spider?
It's quite big. It's very large. And as it comes down, it gets to just above you, Milford, and it disappears. Poof, like it vanishes.
That's not good.
Then you hear Hamir go, "Ah!" from way the back of the party.
Oh, cheeky bugger.
Amir, you alright? Clearly not.
So you look around, everybody turns towards the sound, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah. The spider seems to be right behind him. And he's just gone down to his knees, basically, and the spider's behind him with its teeth in the back of his head. And its legs going... And he's going... "Ah!" Okay, Milford, your turn. I believe.
Okay, I'm gonna fire my short bow at the spider.
All right,
if it's
please.
that big.
Please roll to hit.
Yeah, I would.
Right, of course you would. Milford Brixton rolling to hit with his short bow. Okay, and Brixton, you get +5 to hit. Here it goes, and it's a... Oh, dear. You've so freaked out by what's just happened, you realize you forgot to knock an arrow, and your bow just goes thunk. Natural one.
What the hell? Okay.
Okay, Edrin, what are you doing?
Edrin is going to pull out his wand, and he's going to cast Firebolt at the spider.
All right, roll to hit, please.
I am going to roll to hit.
Meanwhile, Hamir is still going...
It is the wrong spell, but it still does the same roll to hit.
Same DC,
thing.
yep.
Um,
What'd you get?
oh. Okay, hang on. For some reason, it's not wanting to...
Bit of
Oh,
jiggery
hang on.
pokery.
14. There we go.
14,
That took a little
okay.
bit too long. 14 to hit.
It narrowly strikes the spider's leg, just right in the joint, on its second joint down on its third leg on the right, and it hits there. So please make your damage roll, please.
That is a 10 roll.
Will no one
That
help
is an
poor Hamir?
8.
An 8. Okay, you do 8 points of damage. All right.
And I'm also going to, after flicking at him, I'm just going to start backing up.
Start backing up.
I just start stumbling backwards into the darkness behind me.
All right. You're stumbling backwards into the darkness behind you. All right. Can you make a perception check while you do that? Adric, it's your turn.
I'm going to run up and smack the spider with my hammer.
That sounds like a fair plan. All right, so you're
Yeah.
using your 15 feet or 30 feet of movement, or is
Yeah.
it 25 feet as a dwarf? I can't
It
remember.
is 25 as a dwarf.
25. All right, so you go zooming up to the spider. It's not 25 feet. It's about 15 feet, and you come in with your hammer, and you're just gonna swing it at. You need to
smack
use.
him.
You need to use an extra 5 feet to get around the other side of Hamir, actually, because otherwise you're going to hit him in the face.
Okay.
All right, roll to hit.
I'm fairly sure that's not going to do it because that's a 10.
That's a 10.
That's a 10.
No, unfortunately, that does not hit. And also remember that Hamir is 3 steps up from you too, actually. So we need to keep that in mind. There's an elevation going on here as well.
Okay.
So yeah, all right. So you climb those steps as quickly as you can. You swing your hammer at the spider, but you miss. Unfortunately, it's just not there in time. Okay, and now Leith.
How lethal does this?
Lethal.
How lethal does this spider look? Does it look quite threatening, or?
It does look quite threatening, yeah. It's got this kind of albino kind of look to it. It's about the size of a person.
I'm gonna just thinking.
You notice that your friend the wizard is starting to change colour.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'm gonna cast a hex on it it's a bonus action.
All right.
And then cast firebolt.
All right. Go for your life. Roll to hit.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You hit. You hit the spider with the firebolt.
Okay, so 3 damage with the firebolt.
All right.
Do I must do the hex. Additional, and another 5 from the hex.
Another 5 from the hex. Okay. Excellent. At that point, Phase Spider. Okay, Hamir seems to be passed out at that point.
Oh, that's no good.
And Milford, it's your turn, but just as you're about to take your turn, the spider vanishes. And this kind of makes this noise as the air rushes in around it like a very small kind of a popping sound.
Okay.
Remember, it's very gloomy and dark around you, and the thing about the spider is it's white, so you kind of get this hazy view of it as it
Form a circle, quick!
So, okay, so that's what Milford says. Form a circle quick. What are you guys going to do? Milford, you can make a perception check.
I won't.
Your perception is +2. And it's a 13. Alright, you get a vague flash of white over to the far left-hand side of the pillar, a little bit further away.
I just spotted something on my hex. Sorry, Russell.
Yep.
I also, from the casting of that spell, choose an ability
Okay.
of the creature, and it gains disadvantage
Ooh.
on the ability. So I'm going to choose stealth.
Okay. Alright, so it gains disadvantage on stealth. Alright.
Yep.
Okay. All right then. In which case, you guys all basically see the spider vanish, and then you get this flash of white in your peripheral vision as it reappears, as if it's just basically teleported from one place to another onto the archway, halfway up the archway, what you would consider to be outside of melee range.
Okay, but it's not outside of arrow range.
It is not outside of arrow range, so you can simply turn and shoot if you wish.
Yep, I do.
All right, so Milford turns and fires his short bow with +5, and he rolls a natural 20, doing a critical strike.
Oh,
Critical hit. What do we got here? You do a total of 7 damage with that. All right. Edrin.
Is it within 30 feet?
Within 30 feet? No.
Okay,
But
I
you can
can't
move.
see it then, because my
Ah,
lantern only goes out to about 30 feet.
right.
So I am going to rush back to Hamir, and could I try do a medicine check to stabilize him?
You can try, yeah. Make a medicine check.
Okay.
Adric, you're going to be up next.
Cool.
I got a 5.
You got a 5. Okay. He doesn't seem to be doing very well at all. He doesn't seem to be breathing. He doesn't seem to have a pulse. He's kind of... There's shit coming out of his face, out of his mouth. He's coughing up. Or there's just stuff drooling out of his mouth right now. Sort of
Right,
greenish
I call
slime.
out to the group. I think we're losing the mage.
All right, and Adric, your turn.
Crap. I'm gonna turn around and try and also give him a medicine check. Dwarves have advantage against poison and are resistant to poison. So would I recognize and be able to work that into this? Just like, oh, he's poisoned.
You can see that he's poisoned from the color of his face and skin, and the fact that, well, it's a freaking huge spider that just stuck its fangs in the back of his neck, so it's kind of clear to you that he's been poisoned.
Right. I'm gonna just see what I can do to stabilize him at the very least.
All right, roll your medicine check, please.
Oh god, that's a crit! That's a crit! It was almost a 1.
But you rolled a critical success, was it?
Yes. Crit 20 with my +1 with my medicine check. Oh my god.
Okay. You.
Can I just suck the poison out the back of his head?
Yeah, you're trying to suck the poison out of the back of his neck. Literally. I mean, is that you really gonna do that? It's up to you. Yep. That's the plan.
Yeah, I have advantage and resistance, so like,
right.
if that's what'll help get this out, and
All right.
if I know that, then yes.
All right. Can you make a saving throw with advantage?
Yes, that's a Constitution saving throw.
Yep.
Cool.
DC is
wow.
What did
That's
you
a
roll?
22.
22. Okay. You can taste it like you can taste tea, basically, but it's, it doesn't seem to be affecting you at all. So you suck as much of it as you can out and spit it out, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're just doing
Unless you're a real dwarf,
sucking
don't
and
do
spitting,
this in real life.
sucking and spitting, sucking and spitting.
Do not do this in real life unless you are a D&D 5e dwarf. Do not do this in real life.
Do not try this at home, ladies and gentlemen, children.
No, you will die if you do it.
All right.
So have I stabilized him now?
You believe so.
Okay.
With those rolls, I would say so.
Right. Leith, your turn.
Okay, I'm going to continue to fire firebolt at the spider.
All right. Roll to hit.
It is an 11.
An 11. An 11 unfortunately misses. The phase spider, for that is what it is in fact, disappears. Again, everyone make a perception check if they're within 30... unless they're not they've got dark. You know what I'm saying? 30 feet vision, blah blah blah. If you're a human, you can't see it. You can't see it if you're a human. Okay, it's outside your range.
Okay.
Everybody else can make a perception check.
Okay.
17.
17. All right, you can see it.
It's a crit fail.
Oh, who? What?
Uh,
Who got that?
that was me. That was a crit fail. Adric, yeah.
Adric fails to notice. All right, fair enough. But Leith, you did notice, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, and Milford.
Well, 17.
Yeah, perception for Milford, +2. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, a natural 20. Okay, Milford. It appears on the wall right where your arrow is facing,
Fire.
which is quite useful to you. Okay, before you fire, as you're about to basically let go of your next arrow, no, it doesn't do anything. You fire. Here we go. Milford's roll to hit with his short bow, +5 to hit. 14. It hits. It is a normal hit though, not a critical.
Yep. Yep.
And you do 7 points of damage. Okay, who is next? That's going to be Edrin.
Edrin can't really do anything.
Well, what
I
you
can't see it.
What you do notice is that Milford's fired an arrow in a particular direction. And
Okay.
you will have
So
also seen when Leith fires his firebolts, that would light up the space as well.
Okay, so I could like,
You could make a disadvantage,
yeah.
some sort of range attack with disadvantage if you
Yeah.
wished.
I'm gonna pat Adric on the back and say, nice work, and then I'm gonna disadvantage a firebolt.
All right.
Advantage. Oh, that's a 6.
That's a 6. Well, that misses, unfortunately. Alrighty. Adric, back to you, sir.
Alright, I'm going to... are the other members of the group like clustered fairly close together?
I'm assuming so. Are you clustered fairly close together?
Yes, I see
so,
get in
yeah.
a circle.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm going to... I'm going to see if I can try to pick up Hamir and bring him closer to us.
Alright, so you're going to basically drag Hamir down the steps.
Gently.
Gently. Okay, well, because it's gently, I'll make you make an athletics check.
Wonderful. Please do. Oh my. That's a 10. That's a 10.
It's a 10. Okay, you don't hurt him. You don't think you hurt him, you know?
Cool.
Yeah. You get him
So,
down to the circle with everybody else, and he's kind of passed out in your arms, but his heart's beating quite slowly as far as you can tell, and he seems to be breathing. His eyes are still rolling around in his head.
And yeah, well, he laughed at me for us talking about potions and assistance, and look at what happens. Gentlemen, let this be a warning to you.
Alright, Leith, your turn.
I appear to have a bonus action of my healing light as well, so I'll give him a D4 of that.
Alright.
Sorry, a D6
It's a D6.
of
Alright.
healing. Before I do anything else,
Alright.
how do I do that? That roll.
Just mark off your spell slot. Oh,
Yep,
a big
Ooh.
fat
That's a
one.
1.
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay. The poison seems to sort of slurry out of his mouth and out of his nostrils and out of the wounds on his neck, which then kind of close up, and he just lays there. All right.
You just rest up, sweet prince.
Can I still see the spider?
You can still see the spider.
Yep, I'll fire off another shot at it.
All right.
and that's an 18.
Oh, that's a big hit.
That's a hit.
Damage.
So 9 points from the firebolt,
Uh-huh.
and 5 points from the hex.
So I don't want to be cheesy, but the question is, how would you like to do that? I hate that phrase, but you know, it's occasionally it's cool.
How would I like to kill the spider?
How does the spider die? Can you
What
tell
what
us?
kills it? Is it the firebolt or the hex?
It's up to you. How would you like to kill it?
Um,
It had 2 hit points.
it explodes in a mass of legs, and its thorax just goes splattering everywhere.
There you go.
Well done.
The spider
Well done.
explodes up the side
Oh,
of the.
well, that's bloody nice, isn't it? Now I'm covered in spider. For God's sake, couldn't you have done it without the... Look! I only got this...
Yes, I was hoping to save some of that. I was hoping we could recover a little bit of.
Oh, you're welcome to
That I
spit
say
it all off the
wiping off.
floor.
Well, you might be able to get some off me. There's no spider on me.
Let's see what I have, and I'll pull out this dainty little chest from my backpack. Here you go, Edrin. That should be enough to fit in that.
Oh,
Yes, I think it might be beyond that, but good shot, Leaf.
Thank you.
excellent. Excellent work.
I haven't used that combination before. It was very good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Very
very good.
well.
Experimenting with new tricks.
Yes.
I've never had a spider's leg in me ear before, but okay.
And Hamir, how are you feeling? Besides awful.
I've felt better. That is for certain.
That poison doesn't taste too good now, does it?
I have a bad feeling about this place.
Oh, really? Oh,
I-
he's a bright one, that one.
I wonder what his first hint was. Anyway,
That was no natural creature.
I know.
no, I'd wager not.
And why would you think such a creature would exist in a place like this?
To stop us from getting in, of course.
Spiders get everywhere, my friend.
Yes, but
Also-
not spiders like this. Did you see it move?
Yeah, well, consider it may have been a pet, considering the giants.
Pet.
Yes, bigger than us, but a little smaller than them.
Do you want to go back, my lord?
We must continue. We have no choice. We must
would
at
you
least
like-
seek evidence of our forebears, see what became of them.
Would
He
you like
probably
to
got
take a
eaten by-
rest?
He leans on his staff. Personally, I should like a rest. But I must not slow us down now. We must find our companions.
Can I offer you some more healing, sir?
Oh, if you will. But not at the expense of the others. Oh, I am very lightheaded. I may pass out.
I'll give him another d6 of my
Excuse
healing
me.
light.
He's caught a cold too.
That was the DM.
Oh, what? There's only 2 this time.
Only 2?
2 hit points.
Right, so he's up to 3
Oh,
hit
I
points.
thought you were going to say we only had 2 people.
Master Himir, how's your defenses? Do you have any abjuration magic that could help you if you're attacked again?
Yes, I can fight somewhat, yes. I didn't have a
And your
chance.
Right. Very good. So long as your abjuration magic is up to scratch.
He says I'm more of a hit them first type of wizard.
Well, let me know if you need any mage armor. I'm more than happy to supply you with some.
I follow the same philosophy. Now, you gentlemen sure you wouldn't like to take a wee short rest before we continue? Hamir, do you feel able-bodied?
I feel well enough to continue for now.
And by all means, let's go.
Off you go then.
Yes,
well.
yes. I would say let's press forward.
Okay.
Mr. Brixford, if you would please lead the way. I think your talents are uniquely suited to this.
Oh, really? Are they? Okay.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Oh, this is a gate. What are we gonna do about a gate then?
You using my my
Milton
expertise, I'd say we walk through.
I would say that. See, you're just as good as I am. There's really no question.
Oh, you flatter me, sir. I get through the gate.
All right.
I only wish I could fly. Okay, let's go.
All right. I'm going to make a luck roll for each of you.
You're going to make a luck roll.
Which one of us is going through the gate first? Me.
Well, I was thinking, Mr. Adric or Mr. Foggar, do giants tend to put warning signs on their gates or anything? If this is a keep out situation.
That is a very, very good point. I'm gonna look up.
Oh, there's a fine time to ask that question. Now I'm on the other side of the bloody gate.
Yes, I thought better you than me.
You notice there's
Inside the
dust.
bloody gate, and you ask that question. My God.
Little trickles of
I-
dust
I
falling
thought
from
you
the ceiling.
Oh, wait. Well, looks like we should probably move, gentlemen. Warnings be damned. We gotta go.
Yes, I agree with you there. Then, if you feel so hastily.
Well, I've already moved because I.
All right.
Are there runes on the gate?
Are there runes on the gate? Yes. Yes, there are.
Can I read them with in this light?
You can certainly try. You can make a... What kind of check would this be?
Investigate.
Arcana.
Yeah,
Arcana, wouldn't it?
All right, let's see. Investigation.
Start with investigation. You can make an investigation check.
Cool. That is a 13.
A 13. Yep. So you see some runes on the gate. And you can make an Arcana check as well.
Okie dokie.
The runes that you can read so far say something along the lines of high. It's in Ostorian, so it's in Giant, and it says something to do with the High Vizier.
And I got a 13 for my Arcana.
Okay. You don't think there's any Arcana on the gate that you can see, at least.
Well, as far as I can tell, there's no. These gates aren't particularly magical, so we should be fine. They mentioned something about a high vizier, but it's not.
What? High what?
Vizier. It's like an advisor to a king.
Oh, good.
Oh,
I feel like I made a note about viziers earlier.
I think this is probably a door to a throne room.
I think that's quite an astute judgment. You may be right.
Yes.
Yeah, let's shall we?
Okay,
Alright,
do
so
we
you-
want to keep going or what?
So you go through the gate.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So you find yourselves in this rather large room that none of you can sort of see the end of with your dark vision, except to say that there are pillars on either side of it and little alcoves lining the walls. Certainly the walls closest to you. The floor is pitted with holes and rubble. There's vines breaking through cracks in the ground of what must have once been immaculate marble floors, now covered in dust and dirt and rock and stone and plant life. Even a few mushrooms and things growing out of the walls in places. There's vines hanging from the ceilings and wrapping around the pillars. All sorts of rubble and detritus all over the place. And a kind of a dim glow seems to permeate this space.
Must have once been beautiful. Look at what time has wrought. Oh, terrible.
The center of the room is a large rectangular, what must have once been some kind of pool or pond, but it's dry now. And around the edges, you notice that as your eyes adjust, there are these holes in the walls. And in those holes seem to be shapes that you can barely make out, but they kind of look round and white.
I'm gonna walk up and have a bit of a closer look at these orbs.
They, in fact, are the skulls of giants.
Oh, holy, that's quite something. What could push these into the holes?
Packed behind the skulls are the bones of giants. Huge bones.
This will be the ossuary, I suppose.
I think you might be right. Well. Oh, sorry, Russell. When you said the holes, my brain was like, oh, they've just been pushed into the holes like a cat through a cat flap.
Right. Well, no, they've been placed there carefully. It looks like a kind of a burial situation.
All right, that makes much more sense.
Right. Apologies for not being clear.
That's all right. I just assumed it was a war zone. A good guess, Ethan. Yes, this would be the Ossuary.
Lovely.
A water.
It's a giant tomb. Giant tomb with lots of dead things.
A giant
You
tomb.
just say giant tomb instead of what was that word you said before?
So this
Ossuary.
would say they're dead.
It's more of a mausoleum than it is a graveyard or a tomb.
It seems to me like a mass grave.
Well, I guess you would call it that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, at least we won't have.
It's a mausoleum.
Well, at least we won't have far to go if we, die. We're already in the grave.
I'll have you all make perception checks, by the way.
Go, here it goes.
21.
21, very nice.
Just beyond the 30 feet I can...
Is it beyond your 30
I
feet?
shall do it with disadvantage.
Unfortunately, yeah, you can roll with disadvantage.
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh dear. Okay, so why did you completely fail your perception check?
I'm just too busy starting to climb up one of the skulls.
Okay.
You doing? Leaf, what are you doing?
I'm fascinated by the skulls and the bones and how they're buried.
Leave,
That
that's
I'm just
disrespectful.
Climbing up into one of the tombs.
Yes, I can't imagine that's particularly smart when we don't know what exactly is going on here.
All right. So Adric,
But
you got
look
a
at this.
20.
It is beautiful.
Leaf, you just might end up beautifully dead if you keep doing that, Get off there, you moron! Get off!
Oh, but there might be something of worth in here as well.
So Milford, you get a 3. Plus 2 is 5. So obviously the reason you're distracted is because Leith's distracted.
Yeah, because Leaf's gonna kill himself for us.
Edrin, what did you get for perception? Did you roll with disadvantage?
I rolled with disadvantage, I got a 6.
Okay, so clearly you're distracted with the same stuff. But Adric, you notice fresh turds on the floor.
Turd.
Can I identify? Do I know what they may be from?
What's your oh, you're not a ranger, are you?
No. My nature is a +2 though.
All right, make a nature check, please.
That's that's a 4. It could have been
That's-
from Leith for all I know.
Okay, you've got no idea, but they're quite large. I can say that much.
Have a go just for funs.
Gentlemen, something has been through here fairly recently, and has laid some lovely fresh turds for us.
Are you holding it?
Yes, I am. A close inspection.
Oh,
I'm gonna-
lovely.
I'm going to
Expect
climb
anything I
down.
punch to take poison damage.
One time, I was in the turd too, but I didn't actually pick it up. I swam in the damn stuff. Okay, so
I'm going to climb down and examine the stool as well. I have a +3 on my nature, so this hopefully,
All right.
as long as I don't roll. Oh no, I did roll terrible. That's a
Would
Would
9.
you
That's a
would you
9.
like some help with that, Leith? Would you like me to assist you? Because I have the same modifier as you.
Well, I think at this point, Leith can assist you.
We're all just standing around looking
Examining the
It's like a
turd.
pile of shit in my
Edric's
hands.
Okay. So
you know,
Edric's
Look,
hands.
if it's
full.
warm, I think it's fresh, which means something obviously dropped it.
Well, okay. So make a nature check, please, Edrin, with advantage because these guys are clearly helping you.
Ooh, 19. I got a 19.
A 19.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey.
19 total.
Not only is it fresh, but it seems to be from some sort of large arachnid.
And now I know the spider's shit.
Yes, this might be from the same or a different spider. Arachnid of some type.
Judging the size of this turd, is it bigger or the same size?
would you mind not holding it in the mirror like that? Can you just put it on the ground?
To examine it.
Yes, it's a
It's a turd, you know.
I think we've got all the information out of it that we need to be
And
quite honest.
I huck it harmlessly across the room.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
And I'll do prestidigitation to clean up your hand. So it doesn't...
And can you
Oh,
make a
my
D20
poison,
roll,
damn it.
please? Can you roll me a D20, please, Adric?
Okay, I do.
You're hiffing it harmlessly across the room.
If
Harmlessly.
it lands on my boot, you're in blooming
It's like
trouble.
kicking
I'll tell you
stones
that right
harmlessly.
now.
I got a. Let's see. I got a 5. That's harmless, right?
Yeah, that's harmless. It just kind of goes
Oh.
poof and explodes on some rock.
Is there like a wet, moist echo throughout the mausoleum?
Yep.
Ah,
Hey,
And
look, you lot.
Perception
we better get
checks,
going,
please.
you know.
Perception
All right.
checks, please.
Right. Good point.
Disadvantage. Because I'm blind.
Right?
I got a 14.
Oh, that's performance. I rolled the wrong.
19.
19.
At disadvantage, I got a 16.
Ooh,
Surprise.
wow. All right.
I'm busy admiring my turd throwing technique.
Okay, so you're like, thinking about okay. All right. Milford, I'm sorry, I'm waiting for you to roll, but it's me that has to roll for you. My apologies. Perception for Milford Brixton is... Oh, a glorious 1. A glorious...
You know what? I can tell you why. I can
Why?
tell you why I cannot. I can tell you why I cannot see anything because I can't believe these guys have been talking about turd for the last 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know why I'm with this lot.
All right, well, as for those of you that got over about 13, anyone that gets over at 13, you hear the sounds of voices in the distance echoing.
There's voices. Hamir, do you recognize these people?
No, I do not recognize these voices. They're not anyone that I know.
What voices?
Shush.
People in the distance.
Okay, and now you can hear this kind of whispering conversation going on in the distance, and you can hear this kind of sound as well. It reminds you of the sound of that phase spider that you fought a little earlier when it was moving about.
Is it possible, can we make out what they're saying if we can understand them?
Okay, so tell me what languages that you speak.
I speak Common, Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Gnomish, and Orc.
Okay,
Damn,
you do not
alright.
understand what they're saying. Leith,
And
what?
I speak Celestial, Common, Dwarvish, Giant, and Undercommon.
Okay.
I'm just common and elvish.
Common and Elvish. And Milford Brixton, you speak Common, Dwarven, Elvish, and Thieves' Cant. Adric, you recognize some words from Undercommon, but you don't understand the whole conversation. There's just some casual words thrown in the same way that a person who might speak Japanese might use a couple of English words here and there, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, so there's a language I don't recognize peppered in throughout the sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the language you don't recognize is actually the main language. It's the Undercommon that you recognize.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to go? Why am I asking? Do you want me to go and have a look?
If you'd be so kind as to stealth over, there's some undercommon that I can't quite catch the words, but I recognize the speech.
Okay, I don't need a speech. I just.
Do you think we should hide?
Yeah, that'd be a good
Yes.
That might be wise.
I would like to cast Comprehend Languages on myself.
All right.
So for the duration, I understand the literal meaning of any spoken language I can hear.
Someone in the chat, Super Midnight Fan Club. Quick, cover yourselves in crap so they cannot see you.
That is an excellent idea.
It's just like Predator.
Not a bad idea.
No one looks at shit.
Right.
If it shits, we can kill it.
I'm gonna put the hood of my cloak of elvenkind over my head
Right.
and climb back up into one of those
Ossuary.
giant cells. Yeah.
Right. All right. Cool. You can make an athletics check.
I'm gonna put my cloak on and hide myself.
All right. You also.
Athletics. Are we sure we want Leith rolling athletics?
Oh, but we do want
Okay.
Leith rolling athletics.
Hey, we definitely do.
Yeah.
It's not a bad one.
That was
It's a
not.
16.
Yeah, you got better than Milford. Milford got a 14. So yeah, okay. So you and Milford are both hiding among the bones. Edrin, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry, you go.
I'm hiding, but I'm also trying to listen to hear if I can. I mean, I'm trying to listen in on their conversation
Okay, so
as well as I'm going to hide and then listen in.
all right. So you can make your stealth check first, please. Oh, yeah.
Super Midnight Fan Club.
Great.
I just want to say, Super Midnight Fan Club, I love your style. That is a ridiculous suggestion for us all to hold pieces of the spider together and use the crap to bond them and pretend that we're a spider.
Show.
It's kind of like 3 kobolds in a trench coat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
just
much.
vaudeville.
I'm not sure that this campaign is quite that silly, though.
It's kind of sort of like body
Give us
horror.
I got a
5 minutes.
19.
19. All right.
I got a 19 on my stuff. I'm gonna write vaudevillian's crap spider.
All right. So you are hiding. Adric, what are you doing?
I don't know if I can. How high is is one of the giant ossuary tomb things? How high is that compared to my stately 4'7"?
Well, if someone was to help you, you could climb up.
I believe all these gentlemen have already.
But we've already cleaned
ascended.
it up.
Okay, so is there like a
Well,
pile of
actually,
rocks near me?
Hamir could help you.
Excuse me, Hamir. If you'd be so kind as to help me into one of these holes.
It would be my pleasure.
Thank you kindly.
All right. So make an
Isn't there a
athletics
quote
check.
about somewhere?
Athletics check with
It would cost me.
with advantage.
Thank you. That's a crit.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you
Oh,
climb up
nice.
using Hamir as a chair to climb on. Essentially, you climb up into the ossuary, and then Hamir comes up after you. All right, very good. And at this point, roundabouts, those of you who can see beyond 60 feet, can see that there are these 2 large lumbering objects coming out from a hole in the wall on the other side of the room, out of the darkness. And on the backs of these huge black spiders, they're not phase spiders, they're black giant spiders, is first of all some sort of lithe-looking humanoid creature on each of them. Behind the lithe-looking humanoid creature, both of which have long blonde platinum hair, is what appears to be some sort of contraption or possibly even a box or a cage. And these huge spiders with their mounts come clambering over the rubble out of the hole in this very, very dim light that you are able to perceive with your dark vision. And each of you can make a perception check at this point, except for Edrin, because you can't see this going on. You can just... Edrin, you can hear it, though.
Awesome. I can understand what you're saying as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I got a crit one.
Okay.
I got the net 20 this time.
All right. Nice. Okay. And Barry, with Milford Brixton, your perception check is a massive 13 plus 2, 15. Very good. Okay, so everyone who gets over about 14...
Peter's just shaking his head going, oh no, this is so bad. This is... Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, so everyone over about 14 on their check will notice that there are the figures and faces of humanoid people inside these cages holding the bars, looking absolutely terrified, being carried in these cages by what appear to be... in this world, by the way, drow have really, really white skin. Ha! So there. Like albino white skin.
Makes more sense. They're in the dark, no pigment.
Exactly. That's my feeling too. So what you essentially, anyone with a brain works out pretty quickly, is you're seeing these two drows riding these huge giant spiders, carrying prisoners in cages on the spiders behind them.
And drow haven't been seen in like quite some time, have
Yeah,
they?
drow are not a very common race at all in
Yeah.
Sidarial. They're not. I mean, you know they exist. They're not like
But this close to the surface.
this close to the surface, this close to Vaingate.
It's pretty bad.
That's
yeah.
terrifying to you, Leith. Yeah, and they clamber across the room, and then they go out through back into the darkness, in another direction, further down the chamber.
What are they saying to each other?
They're making small talk about how that particular prisoner won't shut up, and should we feed her or should we just fill her mouth with tar?
Jeez, lovely. Heavenly.
Super Midnight Fan Club said this would be a good place to hit the save button before you proceed.
Yes, I do have that
agree.
feature.
Stardust Sam says quick save. Phew. F5.
Amir, what do you see?
I see drow with prisoners.
That's not good. Right, well, what's your call? What's your call? We could fight them here, or we could wait till they go.
I'm not strong enough to fight them, unless you wish to fight them without me. I could stay back and launch firebolts.
That might be best.
Or we can wait.
Russell, can Milford sneak up on them, or are they gone?
Oh, you could sneak up on them if you really, really wanted to, but, just... The two big giant spiders and two drow elves. And they
I know,
have weapons
I know.
and they don't...
He's weighing his thing, but he feels kind of sorry for the poor prisoner.
What's going on out there?
Amir says there's some drow out there. They've got a prisoner.
Oh, what's that clacking noise?
The two spiders they're riding.
Keep it down.
The same white ones.
I don't know. I can't see.
Okay.
How far are we from each other?
How far away are you guys from each other? I'm
It's yelling.
I'm thinking you're all within about 10 to 15 feet of each other.
Right.
The spiders at this point are about, well, they're more than 60 feet away now because they've gone out through into the darkness again. So they're out of visual range now.
Was that any of the people we're looking for?
I couldn't tell.
Amir, is there any? I suppose there's always a chance they could be.
Well, it's very much probably the disturbances and what's been killing their previous party.
Or at least making them disappear.
Amir, would this whistle? Does this whistle have any particular properties to let our compatriots know where we are?
It's a whistle.
I thought it might be magical. You're all fucking magicians.
Do you think everything we do has got some sort of magical property?
Yeah.
Well,
You
to
think
be
we have
honest with you,
time for
yes.
that? Honestly, really,
I think
dwarf.
maybe we should keep it
Sometimes a
down.
whistle is just a whistle, all right?
Just
Just check.
oftentimes you'll find that among intelligent people, common sense goes a long way.
That's why I asked. It's not worth fighting
I
over.
don't know if you haven't noticed, but you're not amongst intelligent people at the moment.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Brixton.
Keep it down, will you, Leith? Honestly.
We're here in the middle of who knows what. Does that make us intelligent?
You notice a couple of rocks come tumbling down from the ceiling and clatter across the floor.
Oh, just immediately shut up and
Can I roll perception to see if I know what's happening?
Yeah, you can roll a perception to see if you know what's happening. Yeah.
All right. That's 19.
A 19. You believe that the natural forces of the weight of the chamber is slowly causing the occasional piece here and there to fall from the ceiling, and that's largely why there's rubble all over the place. Some of it's got to do with the fact that there's plants that are causing the structure to break in places. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right. Well, one way or another, we go the other way where they just came from, or we go back, which is the way they're heading.
Well, perhaps we should go back to the surface and report, because I'm pretty sure they won't know that there are those folk down here.
That's a good idea, but that'll lead us straight into a fight.
What? What do you mean?
Well, they're heading towards where we came from, aren't we? Aren't they? Well, that's just me.
No, that they're not. They're not heading towards where you came from. They haven't.
Oh, I see. I must have. I thought it was just like the.
My apologies. No, they're heading in the direction that you would still be going if you hadn't intercepted them.
Why didn't you send your bird up to warn everybody else?
My bird?
Yeah. Hoo-hoo, or whatever you call him. Put a message on him and send him to warn everybody.
Oh, well, yes. Is my owl with me? I don't think he'd come down into...
Up to you. I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
I think we
he's not
discussed that he
normally-
always stays outside.
He always stays outside, yeah.
Yeah.
So... he
Seems a shame that we got to go all the way back to come all the way back. And you know what I mean?
Very
Well-
least, I agree with Mr. Brixton. At the very least, I think we could maybe glean a bit more information from this endeavor.
Well, if this does lead to drow dwellings, it will be a lot further to go.
All right.
Okay.
I would say we're at the closest to the surface that we're going to get before we can. This is probably the only opportunity we may have to turn back.
Do you think we should look ahead to see if we can find any other evidence of our friends?
I personally believe we should.
Well,
We're all,
Why
Yes.
don't
I
we...
thought we found all the evidence we needed in those cages that you said they had their friends in.
They have a
Didn't
person,
rec-
not our
You
person.
didn't,
A
neither of
person.
you recognized anybody in those cages?
They were too far away for me to see.
Oh.
Well,
Well,
perhaps we could follow, and Mr. Brixton could get up close to tell, maybe.
Seems like a reasonable plan. Shall we put it to a vote?
Well,
I vote no.
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
I think I vote no.
Right, well, reasonable. Master Adrian, you are the tiebreaker.
It's down to the old man, is it?
Unfortunately.
I'm afraid I must go with Mr. Brixton and Leith on this one.
Well,
If
democracy
we're going
reigns.
to run into drow and spiders, I don't think it'd be good to have our mage, who's been almost brought to his knees by a single small spider, to then be attacked by 2 spiders and true drow. Not to mention potentially getting reinforcements.
That is that's very wise. Well, unfortunately, Mr. Hamir, I believe we have been outvoted.
Well, can I ask you one small favour then?
By all means.
Yes,
Perhaps we can determine the frequency at which these creatures come through this place. Is this an ongoing happening or a very rare event? Perhaps you can tell by the number of droppings they've left. You seem to be very good with droppings, Mr. Fogdar.
Oh, let's not start this again. How about I go after that lot and see if I can find out for you without getting killed by them?
If you're feeling confident, Mr. Brixton, then yes, by all means.
All right, I'm gonna risk it. I'll go after the spider people and see how close I can get.
So, before you go, Hamir leans towards you. He says, "Are you sure about this, Brixton?" The others voted no. I don't
Well,
agree with them.
it
but-
occurs to me that if we don't make sure this is not one of your people, she'll be dead in the next couple of hours.
Well, there's one thing I know about drow in my few studies on the matter. They like to keep slaves.
Oh, well, she
lucky
might
enough.
be alive for a lot longer then.
But at what cost?
In any case, I think it's worth you finding out whether it is one of our own.
Well, I'll go and do that, shall I?
Return to us with a description of the person in the cage, on the back
All
of
right.
the giant spiders.
All right, using my stealth, I go.
Should you take the whistle in case you're spotted? If
No,
you're
that's-
spotted, the element of surprise goes, and you might as well run and give us an alarm.
That's a mighty fine idea. I hand on the whistle.
Oh, good. Something like I've always wanted a whistle. Yeah.
Someone said the majority is not always right. Stardust,
Hey,
Sam.
He goes off
Quite so.
using stealth and he is careful.
All right, so using your stealth, Mr. Brixton, let's bring up your character sheet. Stealth for Mr. Brixton. Oh, a phenomenal number.
Oh, crap.
Okay, so you're climbing over the rubble and you accidentally step on one stone that leads to a small fall of other stones that kind of crash away behind you, making a bit of a noise there. Not the greatest stealth roll in the world.
Okay.
Also, not the worst. Not the worst.
Okay, but I keep still for a while and listen.
All right, so you will make a perception check to see whether or not you.
All of us?
No, just Milford.
Oh, just Milford. Yep.
Okay, it's a big, strong 5. You don't think you can hear anything, so you think they must be quite a way away.
Go.
Okay, so you head up to this pile of rubble that goes through this gap in the wall, basically. There's like a 40-foot wide gap in the wall, and you see what must have been the remains of some mural on the wall. It's very faded now, and you can't really tell much about it, except that you can see part of the image of the two suns. And on the wall, you also see amazing there's this picture of a moon, a single moon that you've never seen before. Like, this must have come from a time before the moon was destroyed.
Okay, I'll take note of that.
Right. And you climb up over this pile of rubble. We'll make another stealth check at this point. Oh, but now you get a natural 20 and you move like a ghost. And you clamber over this huge pile of rubble, and what you see before you now is magnificent. There is this huge, giant ship. The bones of this ship. The ship itself is mostly rotted away, but what's left of it, you can tell there was once a ship here.
Oh, what's she done?
And
Yep.
you see boxes of treasure, like chests, among the stuff. And clambering around the edges of this, you can see in the distance these two giant spiders. Both of them have cages on their backs. Both of them have drow warriors riding them.
Okay.
And you can see beams of light coming through the ceiling through tiny cracks that's just enough to fill the room with a very dim light and to cast these shafts of light to fill this huge megaron. And you can see the dust slipping through these shafts of light.
All right.
You see moths flying around,
All right.
playing in the light above you.
Mm-hmm. Do I get a view of the people in the cages?
You move a bit closer.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So with your stealth, I'm going to say that because of your massive 20, I'm going to give you an advantage to roll on your next stealth check to get closer to them.
Mm-hmm.
Stealth. We'll roll advantage. Okay, so with a 19 plus 7 is 24. All right, you get right up close to them, moving along the edges of the room. You can hear them talking to each other quite casually, making references to the humanoids inside the cages.
Yep.
One of them seems to be a young elven boy, the closest one. Like literally not even a teenager boy. So it must be less than 40 as an elf.
Mm-hmm.
The other cage has a woman in it. She seems to be dressed quite finely, although her clothes seem to be covered in muck and they seemed ripped and what have you as well. So
Wizardy kind of clothes?
not especially, just nice clothes, just fancy clothes. No jewelry though.
Eh?
No jewelry.
No jewelry. If I get up really close, I'm going to get caught, do I think?
If you get up really, really close, yeah.
Yeah. There's no way I can save either one of them, is there?
Well, they're still climbing over the things. You'd have to make some exceptional combat rolls to save these people. And you've got no idea what these drow have up their sleeves either. I mean, you don't know whether they're wizards. You don't know whether they're just... I mean, they're carrying swords. They're not carrying shields. They seem like they could be warriors, but they're a little bit unpredictable. You've never seen these creatures before.
And besides that, the spiders could attack me.
The spiders could also easily attack you, so you're up against 4 creatures altogether.
Okay, I'm not going to risk it. I've got a good enough look at the both of them, though.
All right.
Okay, I'll get back as fast as I can using the same route.
All right.
Almost putting my, exactly the same.
All right, very well. And you make it back to the group.
All right.
Oh, you made it back in one piece, Mr. Brixton. Well done.
Great work.
All right. Now, the girl looks like,
And he describes her.
and there's a boy there that looks like, and he describes him.
Mr. Hamir, are either of these people anyone you recognize?
I shouldn't think so. We don't induct children into our order.
Okay. Not just checking.
I am imagining that they've abducted these people from somewhere else in the city.
I'm inclined to think that we should perhaps rescue these people. We have no idea where they're heading. But again, I leave it to the group. I'm only one dwarf.
Oh, there's a boat there.
A boat?
A boat. Yes, it's,
Underground?
it's the worst for wear, but it's a boat.
Oh.
A boat, you say? What kind of boat do you mean? Like a
What do we
rowboat?
know about boats?
Well, you know what a barge looks like.
It's not a barge.
That is more helpful than you know. I'd very much like to
No, it's not a barge. Has anybody got some paper?
It's a.
I have some paper.
Oh, yes. I always have my notebook on me.
All right, can I borrow some paper and something to write, draw with, please?
Yes.
Oh,
and I'll
okay.
give you my pencil.
Oh, and by the way, I saw a moon when it was just a moon. One moon.
A moon?
Yeah,
That's-
just one single moon.
Oh, this place is mighty, mighty ancient.
Okay,
That's ready.
okay. I'm drawing now. He's really concentrating on what he's drawing too.
All right. Okay, you can draw it. I'm not gonna make you roll for that.
There you are.
So basically, out of game, it's an enormous, oversized, overpowered Viking ship. Right? That's basically what it looks like. It's a burial ship, actually, but you haven't worked that out yet.
Well, from what I would knowing what he knows about history and giants, would Adric be able to put all this together?
Would Adric be able to put this together? You can make a history check.
Let's see. That's a 13.
You've got a pretty good idea. I mean, it certainly begs a lot of questions that lead to answers that, if they're true, then wow.
There's a lot of unknowns here, gentlemen. But if there's going to be something worth having in this entire tomb, or in this ossuary, it's going to be on that boat.
I agree with you. It's probably true, but do we still not want to report that what we've found here?
The last party may have reported may have found what we found, decided to go looking on the boat, and then they got captured. And if we suffer the same fate, they'll send in another group of 4 or 5 people to go in, find what we found, get captured, and they'll keep sending them in.
Oh,
If I went back as fast as I could,
Yeah.
how long would it take me?
Back to the entrance.
Yes.
25 minutes.
I say, wait here, I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
She takes off towards the entrance.
Okay, he's gone.
All right, so Milford, you head back. I'm based on your previous athletics checks to get over the crevasse. I'll just say that you know exactly what to do. So you just run up that wall and down the other side with your parkour acrobatics +7. Woof, and you get back up to the top. You're quite exhausted when you get there. You're panting and you're sweating though, right?
Yeah.
You're moving really fast.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
And you stumble out into the moonlight.
What was the name of those creatures?
The drow.
You mean
So one of the wizards turns around and sees you as you come stumbling out into the moonlight. Where are the others?
I'm going back to see them after I've told you that there's my friends called them.
Another one of
They
the wizards
call-
steps
call
towards you. This
them-
one's a female.
Hang on, let me catch my breath. Called
Breathe
them
deeply, my friend.
drowsy, drow. I think drow. There's drow down there.
The two wizards look at each other. Drow?
Yes, and they got prisoners. They got. As far as I've been able to see, a boy and a girl so far. And there's a boat down there. Looks like this.
You show
Picture.
the picture,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
She takes
Looks
the
like
picture
this.
and looks at it. And she folds it up and begins to add it to a scroll case.
Have you got a potion that can give me a bit of energy to get back?
Do you think we carry potions everywhere we go, do you?
Yes. Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
some very
I know.
unrealistic expectations of our order.
Well, you're disappointing, you know. I've just told you some very important stuff. Do you want me to go and get some more stuff?
If I had potions to give you, surely I would give them to you, but I have not such potions.
You mean to say I've got to run back?
You do what you must do. I do what I must do.
Oh, I'd like to tell you what to do, but I'm not going to
She
do
turns and starts walking to the exit of the dig site.
that. Thank you, Mr. Brixton. Yes, anytime, sir. Anytime.
The other wizard
Absolutely.
turns to you and says, "Thank you, Mr. Brixton. Perhaps you would be best to return to your party now."
Oh,
He
thank
puts
you, sir.
his hand on your shoulder and he says, "But I can give you this." He reaches inside his pocket and he pulls out a small vial. This might assist you.
Okay. You want me to drink it now, then?
I wouldn't drink it at all if I were you. It's
How's
poison.
that going to assist me, then?
'Tis poison. Use it upon your enemies.
Oh, thank you. See, he had a potion. What's wrong with you? He runs off.
All right. So you head back down again.
Yeah.
All right. And you arrive back at the rest of the party. What have you guys been doing while Milford's been gone?
Yeah, how long has he gone for?
Altogether, 50 minutes.
We may have had a short rest, so
Yeah,
Hamir can
That would make sense.
get a little bit of hit points back?
Yep. Yep.
While they were, Hamir was resting, I was probably investigating the rest of this ossuary, just reading runes, trying to get a better picture of everything.
Okay. For sure. Okay, so you pick up some names of some ancient giant names. You get the impression that these might have been storm giants. You're not sure.
Oh shit. That's mighty interesting. Mighty interesting.
I'm going to take a short rest with Mr. Hamir and use my arcane recovery.
All right. Recover away. Leith, what are you spending this short rest doing?
Just focusing back up again. It looks like I can get a spell slot back, so I
Alright.
shall have my packed spell slots. So I shall just focus on getting that back.
All right. Very good. Okay, and then Milford Brixton comes running back in.
And falls to his knees. And
Oh,
You all right, Brixton?
15 minutes. Well done.
they know they. Yeah.
They should name some sort of run after you.
I walk up to him with my water skin full of mead. Here, Mr. Brixton. Now take a nice drink of this.
And it's mead. So, you know.
Well, I might have a little bit after him if that's all right.
By all means, it's for the group to share. It's like,
Ah,
leave me
thank you very
some
much.
if you would be so kind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do
Okay.
my best.
They know about the
I'll do my best.
is, yeah. Is anybody gonna listen to me?
I'm listening.
I'm listening.
Fred.
Speak.
They know
I was
about
marking something up. Sorry.
they know
I'm always listening to you, Milford Brixton.
that's why you getting the message you do. Anyway, now listen. I've told them everything. Okay. They didn't tell us to do anything wonderful, but I think they want us to keep going.
All right. Well, they know. They didn't send anybody. They didn't give you any aid. So they must be
No.
fairly confident, I suppose.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Well, Amir, how are you feeling?
Much better, sir.
I go to sit down.
What are you sitting for? We're about to leave.
What? You got to be okay.
I'm just pulling. I'm pulling your leg to take a breather. You've earned it.
I wish to see this ship, I must say. I am anxious to see it. It's
It'll be there in 5 minutes.
it's less than 100 feet away, surely. Or is it a few hundred feet? How far is it, Brixton?
It's about 200 feet that way.
Yes, I think we should go and see it. This will be a historic moment in our lives.
Well, if we all get killed, it's going to be
Are we
an
wanting-
historic moment.
You've already been there, haven't you?
Yes,
Yes, and you went right up alongside it, did you not?
not the boat. I didn't go alongside that. I went alongside the spiders and the cages
Where were they going?
to the boat.
To the boat. They were going to the boat.
Yes, they seem to be going to the boat.
They were going past the boat, actually.
They were going past the boat. My mistake, all right. Past the boat.
That's
Past
an
the
innocent mistake, Mr. Brixton. That's an innocent mistake. When you've caught your own breath, we'll be on our way, won't we?
All right.
Yes. Do we want light or no light?
Perhaps better that we hide in the shadows for now. What do you
I
think?
know
Very
this.
good.
I know this is going to be surprising to you all, but I'll take the point.
I think that may be best.
Yeah, come this way then.
Yeah, Master Adrian,
I'll-
Hamir, if you'd like to hold my hand while we're leading.
Oh, I've got. I'll give Master Hamir a potion of dark vision.
All right, no hands for you then.
I'll still hold your hand. I would like to use it if we get ourselves into a little bit of trouble. When we actually reach the boat, there's no point using
Why
dark
don't you
vision
tie the
to
rope
walk
around
200
each
feet.
other so you don't lose each other?
All right, so Milford, you're going to go first and you're going to stealth. Is that what I'm...
Yes, I'm going to stealth. You may consider that when I'm in front, I'm always stealthing. I like living, you know.
All right. Well, Milford, you're stealthing along, but you're making a pretty casual job of it, to be honest, because you've been here before.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah. So these guys follow Milford up and through into the next chamber, and you get to the top of the pile of rubble. And those of you with dark vision, and even those of you without dark vision, because there is a little tiny bit of light in this next room, coming through these cracks that come from the ceiling, you can make out the shape of this ship, and it's huge. It must be 200 to 300 feet long. It's huge, and you can see the bones of this craft laying out, kind of collapsed. You know, it's not sitting upright the way it should be, but it's sort of collapsed down onto the floor. But you can see a pile of chests, and I mean, I'm talking about large boxes. Some of them are kind of collapsed as well and broken, but some of them are made of metal, and they shine and gleam in the light. And you see large coins, and you see big chunks of metal sticking out amongst the wreckage. in there.
Amazing.
Well, I tell you, gentlemen, look at all of this.
How would this? Is there water? Is it sitting in water, or is it?
There is a pool of water around it and in it, yeah, because of there would have been leaking through from the ceiling, the cracks in the ceiling where the light is coming from.
But it's not sitting in a lake or anything
No.
like that.
No.
Just sitting in the middle of this cavern.
Yeah.
Right. How would this have got here, I wonder?
Well, it looks like the Ossuary may have been the last race for storm giants. So we can reasonably assume that belongs to them. And storm giants are, they're ocean dwelling. So it's quite weird that they're underground.
Also, if this is an ossuary, it could be more of a ceremonial boat rather than a functioning boat. That could be where they keep all their gold, all their precious items to take with them into the afterlife. That's just a theory. I have no clue about giants. I don't even speak giants. I don't know if that could be a temple, Mr. Fogdar.
They could well have been buried here.
That is a very fine point you make there, Master Agent. And I would wager you're probably right about the last rest of the boat.
Oh, and Milford, you can point out where the images of the moon and the suns are as well, if you so desire.
I pointed out to them.
That's as ancient.
I've never
Obviously.
seen the like.
So that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the moon itself was some kind of geodesic dome, or sort of geodesic figure. It wasn't circular. It was an actual temple. It was a physical temple made up of walls and towers and pieces sticking out from it, kind of like a space station in 3 dimensions, sticking out in all directions, but made out of like giant architecture. And you've had no idea what the moon must have looked like. I mean, to be fair, you will have seen the remnant moons in the sky. Anyone looking at that background picture right now can... Actually, you probably can't see them very well, but anyway. If you go to the main title page at sidariel.com, you'll see it. So the remnant moons are in fact huge chunks of architecture that were part of an actual temple that was in the sky, and it was the moon temple, the moon goddess's temple, Sehenine Moonbow's temple, before it was destroyed. And that's what it looked like.
Well,
That's something.
Quite amazing.
all right. Now, can we get going, Mr. Amazing People and Amazing Pictures? Let's get going.
All right, so I guess we're going to investigate the boat.
Watch out for the spiders and for those other things.
Or what now?
You know, those creatures that are able
right.
to go.
Pardon.
I don't know what I'm gonna... Why am I with this long one?
Because you enjoy my sunny disposition.
I don't think so.
That's mighty.
Anyone that was paying attention might have got some spoilers then, but hey. That's all right.
I guess I can walk into the boat and start looking around.
Walk into the boat and start looking around. All right. And
I stop him from walking into the boat and looking around.
so do you put
I
your
just
hand
said
on
we
his
should
shoulder, or
look.
how do you do that, Barry? How do you stop him? Like, literally, what is your
I
path of...
get in front of him because I'm quicker than he is.
All right.
Can I get... No, we're going to do this stealthily, you know.
All right, lead on. Lead on, by all means.
Okay. Milford looks at all the cover he's got that will take him to the boat and keep him hidden.
Okay.
And his team.
All right.
How much is there?
There's a reasonable amount of cover. You can move up in sort of increments of sort of 25 feet, but you have to run from here to here, run from here to here. So you need to make like 3 stealth checks to get to the boat.
Okay. All right. I'll have a look and see if it works for me, and then I'll tell them to go exactly where I went if nothing goes wrong.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
So you're going to make your first stealth check.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, please.
First stealth check for Milford
To
Brixton.
the audience, I'd like to say it's been nice working with you. It's been nice seeing you.
All right. So Milford, your first stealth check is an 18. That's 23 rather, with your bonus. So you get up to the first large chunk of stone, all right? And it's got all these runes and things drawn and written on it. Adric, you're watching him do this, right?
Yeah.
Right, and you notice the runes and things in the light that he's standing in. And it says something to do with... what does it say?
Russell,
Yes, sir.
we can actually see what you're looking at on the stream.
That's
Oh
true.
no.
Thank you for pointing that
Oh
out.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Need to control that shit. That's a bit of a
Yeah.
hazard. Bit of a hazard. Thank you.
beyond the veil.
Oops.
Reality.
I hadn't noticed that.
What's it say?
It says something about here lies the body of, and then the rest of it's actually under the ground.
Gentlemen, well, there is whoever's here looks like it may have been, or he or she may have been mighty important.
Right,
Here
Milford.
lies the body of, and the rest of it's hidden.
So Milford, you're standing with your back to this big thing, this stele. Basically, it's a stele. This huge stone stele.
I am making like a stone.
All right, so you're going to make your next dex check, your next stealth check, up to the next point.
Before I move, I'm
wait.
going to put that thing on.
Oh, the hood?
Cloak.
The cloak.
The cloak.
Okay, very good. All right. Which is lucky because it wasn't the greatest roll in the world. It was an 11.
Okay.
All right. And I will quickly just double check what the cloak does.
Is it the same cloak as mine, the elven kind?
Yeah.
Yep, it gives perception checks disadvantage, and you have advantage on dexterity and on stealth checks.
Okay, so he gets advantage on stealth checks. All right, so
Yep.
Milford, you're going to make a stealth check with advantage. Here we go. I'm not going to share it because last time I did that, I kept sharing every damn other bit of information. Okay, 13 plus 5 is 18. Very good. You move up to a large steel chest.
Okay.
All right.
I use that
It's-
as cover.
It's about this to you. From your point of view, it's like a small container, like a shipping container, but it's actually a chest.
Okay, I signal to the others to do it.
I'm going to follow his path as stealthily as I can.
All right, you can make a
I
stealth.
put my hood up as well and try and stealth.
All right, Adric, you go
I-
first. Stealth
I am
check.
a stocky, be-armored, short person,
Mm-hmm.
so I roll with disadvantage. Always good. Oh, wonderful! I got a 6.
A 6. Okay, and Leith, you make your check. Following
I've got
up behind.
advantage. I've got advantage on it, but I didn't roll.
Yep. Roll it with advantage.
It already had the advantage symbol on it, but it didn't roll the advantage automatically.
No, you have to
So
right click on it.
Yeah, I rolled a 10.
Okay.
The first roll was a 1, though.
Okay. All right, and Edrin, what are you doing?
Well, before we were started moving out, I was going to turn to Leith and ask him if he can see if there's anyone about in the distance. Is there anyone lurking about in the distance? Can you see? I don't want to use this potion, but at the same time, I was hoping to light up my candle my lamp once more, but I don't want to draw any attention to us.
Well, I'm sure those drow are further off, but Well, I don't think there's anybody further up.
Okay, so while you're having this conversation, Milford has arrived at the second, the box, the large stone strong box, and Adric has run up to the stele, the first location. And as you go from there, Adric, you're going to run from that point to the next spot. That's your plan? Okay, so I'll get you to make another stealth check at that point.
Cool.
Leith and Edrin, can you make perception checks for me?
That's a 2.
Oh. Was that a natural 2 or was that a 1?
That's a natural 2 because my stealth modifier is a +0.
Okay.
I rolled a 15 on perception.
15. All right, and Edrin?
I got a 7.
A 7, okay. So, Edrin, you're busy thinking about lighting sources and people in the distance. Whereas, Leith, you seem to be the only one that has noticed that some of the treasure that's laying around here kind of moves.
I'm going to try and run stealthily as quickly as possible from here to Milford.
Okay, you're going to run directly to Milford. You're going to go past the stele straight to Milford.
Try and go directly to Milford.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I
Right.
need to warn him.
Make your stealth check with advantage.
Make a stealth check with advantage. Both 16s, so that's
Wow.
17.
All right, so you arrive at Milford. Milford, you're standing there with your back to this huge chest.
Milford.
What?
All of this treasure is moving. Be careful.
Milford, we'll make a perception check for you now, Milford. All right.
Okay.
Did it seem like there's something under the treasure,
It
or
did
is
indeed.
Is it like moving of its own? Okay.
It
There's
seemed
something in the treasure.
okay, Milford. You get a 15, and at that point you see this. Some of the treasure just kind of slips sideways and just sort of pours. You know how a sand dune might sort of part of a sand dune might just fall away.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Oh, that can't be good. Oh no.
Right, Adric, what are you doing?
I'm going to just try to go from my current position all the way to Milford now, just following his route as closely and as quietly as I can.
Okay, stealth check. Oh, you rolled your stealth check, didn't you? For
That was a 2 before.
And it was a 2.
Getting to the next point.
All right. So as Adric comes out from behind the stele, he starts running towards you, Milford and Leith, and he pushes aside. His legs just sort of push through some of the treasure that's around his feet. And there's this kind of jingling noise as some of the metallic coins kind of bounce away from him. And suddenly, this huge bone serpent rises up out of the treasure in front of Adric. It just pours out of the treasure right in front of you. And that's where we're going to leave our game.
Ooh, attention.
Oh, so good.
Chat, did you have fun? Did you enjoy us? Please say yes.
Yes, indeed. I certainly enjoyed you.
Rude.
So,
What's the audience saying?
T. Earl Grey Hot says, getting smog vibes. Cue the danger music. Yes, indeed. I've been looking at bringing music into the stream. Actually, it's totally doable. It's just I'm the one person. I'm doing everything. I'm producing the stream and DMing, and it's just one more thing that I have to do. Having said that, I may be able to find a producer in the next few weeks. So,
Hey.
could happen. We may our production values may go up soon. So yeah. Stardust 115, Stardust Sam says, this is amazing. Sirenscape is a good source, says Super Midnight Fan Club. I will check that out.
I will +1 on that. I used Sirenscape for a little bit when I started running Curse of Strahd with my team, and it's very useful. It's got lots of buttons and stuff. You can just like
Cool.
turn on little sound effects and bring up certain music and atmospheres and stuff like that. It's pretty worth looking at. Yeah.
Very cool. I'm hoping that I can get someone to actually run OBS for me from their computer at their house, so we can all be connecting via Zoom, and they can be doing all the shit that I'm doing at the moment, so I can concentrate on DMing, which would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, it's a big ask, and I think I might have someone for that. So anyway, we'll see how we go. I don't want to say it if before it happens, but yeah, cool.
Yep.
Well, I hope everyone had fun. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you very much for playing, and thank you very much for watching, everyone. Yeah.
These are proving to be very fun sessions. Really enjoying them.
Oh yes,
Good time.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
so much
You
fun.
speak for yourself.
I am speaking for myself, Barry. I mean,
And too
Brixton.
bloody dangerous, if you ask me.
Yay.
Am I speaking? I beg your pardon.
Hey, as long as it's you that's the guinea pig, Barry, well, I'm fine with that.
Thank you.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. Better you than me.
Right.
You don't pay me enough.
We don't pay you at all.
Pay you at all.
I'm going to add another 0. I'm going to add another 0 to your pay this week.
Oh, good.
Double zoom.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
It's 0, and it's all zeros.
Yeah.
That was the joke. Yes.
All right, and we shall stop we shall stop streaming here, I think. But thank you,
Thanks
everyone.
for watching, everybody.
We'll have a great
Okay,
night.
bye, fams.
Thanks for watching.
And check
Thank
out
you.
the website. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I need more subscribers, at least 2 more, so I can get to what is it, 220? I mean, really, 218? Come on, I need a round number. That's not cool. And at least one of those videos needs like 1 more to get to 400 views. So someone can do that too, please. Would be awesome. I'm just being cheeky. All right, guys. Yeah, I'll talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, on Zoom momentarily.